is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Keep your body in shape with Physio Extra Clinical Pilates and group exercise classes. PhysioExtra.com.
A meeting of Southeast Asian leaders will wrap up in Melbourne with a range of measures to further deepen our economic ties in the region. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
The Prime Minister hosted 400 delegates, including 10 ASEAN leaders, at a gala dinner at the National Gallery of Victoria. In a sign of the sensitivities surrounding the gathering, the whole building was fenced off with steel frames wrapped in black canvas to prevent the dinner being disrupted by potential protesters. The Albanese government says it's keen to strengthen economic ties in the growing region, but it also needs to straddle differences over China, with some countries very supportive of Beijing, while others have a frosty relationship. Today, the government will announce an additional $61 million to drive investment with ASEAN countries.
A man has spent the night in custody after an incident in the CBD. He was allegedly involved in a disturbance and assault in a Franklin Street shop around 5:30 last night. He was then reported throwing stones at passing vehicles on the same street. The 46-year-old from Ingle Farm has been charged with theft, 2 counts of assault, throwing a missile and disorderly behaviour. He'll front court today. South Australians are bracing for more financial pain, with private health insurance premiums set to increase an average of 3% on April the 1st. But there are warnings the increase will be even greater for some health fund members, with policyholders urged to shop around. Economic Director at Compare the Market, David Koch, says it's a timely reminder to review our cover and make sure it's still meeting our needs.
Private health insurance premiums have been allowed to increase from the 1st of April by an average of 3.03%. Remember, it's not a mandated 3% across every policy, so some policies will increase their premiums more than the average. That's why it's important to compare your policy to make sure you're getting the best deal.
Meta has resolved a technical glitch which saw Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp and Threads users locked out of their accounts for 2 hours. The worldwide outage began around 2 o'clock this morning. People were unable to view their feeds with error messages popping up. Quarantine zones have been set up in the northern suburbs following a fruit fly outbreak at Salisbury North. Queensland fruit fly has been confirmed in the area. Purser's Nick Seacombe says a letterbox drop will be followed up by face-to-face visits.
And then our staff will be knocking on people's doors to let them know that there's a fruit fly outbreak in the area and what they need to do. Our teams will be applying fruit fly bait to the area every week, in some cases twice a week, to make sure we can attract the fruit fly to that bait and eradicate it quickly.
Optus has been forced to pay a $1.5 million fine for large-scale breaches of public safety rules. An investigation found the telco giant put close to 200,000 customers at risk by failing to upload their information to a public database used by emergency services. Samantha York from ACMA says the customers were left vulnerable for an 18-month period.
All of their customers during that period, 200,000 of them, were left very vulnerable in the event that they were caught up in an emergency and couldn't be contacted.
Now to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Outlander.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. St Kilda veteran Jimmy Webster has received the longest AFL suspension since 2018 over his sickening bump on North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin. The 30-year-old defender will be sidelined for the Saints' first 7 games of the season after pleading guilty at the AFL tribunal to rough conduct. Webster says he will not be appealing the sanction.
Firstly to Jai and Jai's family, I'm really sorry about what happened on the weekend. It's something I'm really embarrassed about. It's not what I stand for as a person or a player. To the North Melbourne Football Club and the footy people, I'm sorry about my actions on Sunday. Yeah, it's not something I'm proud of.
Locally, the Crows held their AGM last night, and positive news with the club announcing an operating profit of just over $1 million. Meantime, Melbourne has re-signed Premiership midfielder Tom Sparrow until the end of the 2026 season. The 23-year-old commits after recently being linked with a return to his home state of South Australia. Well, the Sydney Kings will announce their new coach this morning, replacing the sacked Mahmoud Abdel Fattah. It's expected to be Boomers coach Brian Goorjian. Meantime, Australian basketball star Paddy Mills is reportedly in talks to join the Miami Heat after being waived by Atlanta. And in some soccer to finish, European Champions League action resumes again this morning, with Bayern Munich hosting Lazio while Real Sociedad takes on Paris Saint-Germain. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Warming up for the rest of the week. Sunny today, 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 33. Friday, sunny, 36. Then Saturday, scorcher, sunny, 39. Right now, it's 21. More news as it happens on 5AA.
We're the boys from the bush.
Lee Koenigen's new tour, Boys from the Bush, the concert, is heading to Adelaide for one night only at the Hindley Street Music Hall on Friday, 19th April. Lee will perform all the hits and all your favourites in a spectacular new production that features his hot new band. Don't miss Australia's own country music legend, Lee Koenigen, and his special guests at the Hindley Street Music Hall on Friday, 19th April. Book now on ticketmaster.com.au.
Here's the thing about instant gas hot water. It's not very instant. It can take up to 40 seconds for proper hot water to come out, wasting around 25,000 litres of water each year. So get off the gas and get onto EcoVantage. With an EcoVantage heat pump hot water system, you could save up to 50% on your water heating costs, not to mention all that water down the drain. So get off the gas and get onto EcoVantage. EcoVantage.com.au.
You deserve a new car. And you definitely deserve a holiday. You could win a Mercedes and a luxury getaway to the Maldives. But you've got just 2 days until the bonus deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Plus, your tickets stay in the draw for the $3.6 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize at Henley Beach. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. HomeLottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zig ZE 310R passenger car tyres and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriutpa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 6th of March. And Wednesday, of course, means Sean Fuchs today. We'll go around the courts with Sean after 7:30 today. David Koch will be on the program on the eve of the AFL season returning. It feels early. Tomorrow night, of course, footy is back. Not Port or Crows this week. That'll be for the traditional round 1 start. But lots in the world to talk about that isn't footy related with Kochie as well. A lot of economic data out this week. A lot of speculation about what the future of rate cuts. Is there a recession in the future? There's a lot of new data points that he'll sink his teeth into for us after 8 o'clock today. In and around all that, we get you across the latest developments right around Australia, Adelaide, and the world on a few fronts. The Sam Kerr story took on a more complicated complexion, shall we say, to be generous to her, late yesterday. We'll talk about that. Super Tuesday is going on in the United States at the moment. 100 million Americans going to the polls to determine who will face off in the presidential election in November of this year. We'll tell you about some really exciting developments too for the future of air travel in Adelaide. But first, David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. If you have a garden to tend to, I'd suggest you start concentrating on that over the coming few hours rather than leaving it till late in the day, because it's going to be
21 already.
It's amazingly warm. It feels like the last couple of days, the mornings have been kind of crisp. I've been wearing the traditional T-shirt and flanny combo for the first hour of the program, making the drive in from home. But Yeah, no such need to. You got the shorts on there, Will?
Just permanently in the short. What was used to happen in the old days in the winter? You got stitched in for the winter. You got what did they
stitched in? I'm not familiar with that term.
Would have been well before I imagine anyone listening was alive. But there was a turn of phrase where they literally you wore one set of clothes for the winter in cold northern hemisphere climates, and they literally stitched the clothes in. Yeah. Ugh. The equivalent of that has happened with me with shorts now. I'm using the wrong word. I can't think what it is. It's
Well, you wore the whole for a whole season. You wore the same outfit.
Yeah, you wore the clobber. Yeah, it was cold.
Was this in like the Middle Ages?
Yeah. Well, no, I think it was more recent than that. I think sort of we're talking 1700s.
Who had the arduous task of washing them at the end of that process?
Oh, miserable. Well, you probably just went into the lake or something.
Or jumped in the bath after your 7 siblings had had one.
But in any case,
cold water.
I've got the shorts permanently attached at the moment.
Oh,
this week
same.
there's no debate about shorts or not. Do you know that the scariest number on the forecast for me the next 7 days? I mean, 39 jumps out at you, but that night the overnight low is going to be 26 degrees.
You're kidding.
20. So
which night are we talking about?
So so for the 24-hour period of Saturday, the low will be 26. The next day's low will be 25. So we're going to have 48 hours where at no point in the day is it lower than 25 degrees. That's when it starts getting oppressive, I reckon. It's not the heat of the day. It's when there's no relief at night.
At least it's on the weekend, so hopefully people can plan around that.
Long weekend too.
Act accordingly. Head to some sort of coastal setting and, deal with it the way nature intended by jumping into the ocean.
You know what my new favourite sport is, though, is with every passing day, you get revealed the next day in terms of the 7-day forecast. And I keep waiting to see when's the first prediction of rain coming.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Extending out our record of 39 days now without rain.
Is it 39 or 40?
39.
39.
So at 39 without rain, there's nothing forecast
40.
In the next...
Was it yesterday or the day before that Mark Adelaide said it was day 38? I thought it was Monday.
Well, Sam Daddo's...
We'll double check.
He's keeping track of this, so now he's going to go back on his numbers. Whatever it is...
I've totally thrown you now, haven't I, Sam? Sorry, mate.
The best chance of rain is the Tuesday, the 12th of March, at 5%.
Sam was right. Yesterday was day 38.
So yesterday was day 38.
What's the first chance of rain? March what?
March 12. So 6 days from today, and that is 5%. That's the highest chance of rain over the course of the next 6 days.
You wouldn't put your house on that.
No.
This Matildas story's hard to get your head around, isn't it? Well, it's not the Matildas story, it's the Sam Kerr story. The thing I find really weird, and I love Sam Kerr, the whole thing pains me.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I find it really sort of troubling. Why wouldn't you tell your teammates here in Australia? Why wouldn't you tell your coach?
That's the worst part of it now.
The coach who's done so much for these girls...
while the allegation's outstanding, that's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
Right. And I was thinking about this morning because I sort of thought to myself, I love Sam Kerr. I think she's an amazing icon of Australian sport. And I was reading the story going, it's not a great look, but maybe she's done nothing right. And then in my head I thought, how would I be reacting to this story if it was about David Warner?
Well,
I had one of those moments of like, let's just park your own bias for a second here. It's pretty ordinary. It's beyond ordinary not telling your coach, your teammates, that there's going to be this massive... I'm
not going to judge her on what she's alleged to have done, because I don't think anyone knows.
No, I haven't seen it even reported unofficially anywhere, or anyone speculating.
I've seen stuff on Twitter.
Have you?
I don't think it's worth repeating, though, because it's not a news source. It's just someone on Twitter saying, this is what I've heard she said.
You know, this is way worse in terms of the selfishness of it if she wasn't injured. So she's injured. But if not for that fact, right now she'd be in the middle of a build-up to go play at the Olympic Games, the second biggest tournament, women's football in the world. Would have just finished playing the qualifiers against Uzbekistan. How big a distraction would have this been for the whole team going to the Olympic Games had she not been injured?
Yeah, which I think points to a bit of selfishness, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does, unfortunately.
You know, like the...
Or naivety?
Yeah, naivety. Let's settle for that. Well, she's a bit too old to be naive. It's weird. Yeah, you're right, because this would be one of those Olympic Eve blow-up stories. You know, and the other thing is she's still the captain. She's the captain of the Australian women's soccer team. And as we've been saying, you know, Australia's lot of people now, and yesterday, our very own 5AA Breakfast Show jury proved the point. They're regarded as our national team, more so than the Australian cricket team.
That's right. Well, look, we've already got a scandal. We voted on our new favourite team, and they got hit by a scandal on the very same day.
What next? They'll be running around in Paris holding a large piece of sandpaper when they take the corner.
See, I think the most...
Just want to get a bit more purchase on the kick.
The most generous interpretation of this is she thinks the whole thing's so ridiculous, it's going to get thrown out, and a legal team have told her as such. But if that was the case, you'd definitely tell the team, wouldn't you? And say, look, there's this ridiculous thing that's going to come out.
What I don't understand, though, is if it's so frivolous, why is it going to take 4 days as well? A 4-day trial.
4-day trial?
I mean, who knows? It could just be a bit of PC nonsense about one name that maybe she shouldn't have said, but it wasn't actually particularly bad. Who knows? I mean, some of the versions of it, and again, I can't stress enough, this is social media, so don't rely on it, Mark Zuckerberg. But some of the versions of events have calling the police officer a pig. Okay. Now, I'm not even sure if that's what she said, and I'm certainly not saying you should call police that, because it's a disgusting insult.
Is that racial vilification?
I don't think it's racial vilification, but... Again, that's one version. There's other versions.
Okay.
But there's no version doing the rounds that sounds particularly... it's not like it's not some profanity-laden, colour-based sort of version of events that's being put.
Sounds like the court process is going to drag out a bit in the UK by the sounds of things.
Well... Can an Australian sports star get a fair trial in England as well?
17 minutes after 6.
Seriously, they do hate us. Their media never miss a chance to run all the lazy tropes about us being convicts and cheats and scumbags.
Yeah, that's right. They're playing to the...
they do have that view.
Yeah. Like we play to the whinging pom stereotype, I suppose.
Well, that's because they whinge all the time.
Lots of texts on this. We might get to those on the Duttons text line in a moment. Big 10 Ford, Jetta, Havel, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, easy to do business with. Before we do, though, we're going to take a break. And
Luke's text is terrific.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can read it out. Can we?
We can do a version of it. We'll do it next with news headlines.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
It's Edward here from Edwardstown Mazda. I can't tell the time yet, but I know it's running out to save on a 2023 Platoon Mazda. If you come in now, you'll get the best deal ever on all 2023 Mazdas. I pinky promise. And remember, Edwardstown Mazda is the #1 destination for Mazda in SA. Numo umero, baby. Now play that jingle thing.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda.
Cut through the background blah and hear what you want to hear with Specsavers Advanced Hearing Aid Technology. Whatever your lifestyle, Specsavers have a wide range of hearing aids to choose from. There's rechargeable hearing aids, those that stream music or movies, ones for good at home, and others suited to the great outdoors. Better yet, you won't be charged extra for your preferred fitting style or colour.
You'll find audiology professionals in almost 300 stores across the country, ready to support you on your journey to better hearing. At Specsavers, they encourage you to shop around and compare their everyday low prices because you shouldn't pay more than you have to.
Get the quality, value and care you deserve. Find out more in-store or see specsavers.com.au/hearing. Always follow the directions for use.
The cost of living keeps rising. Thankfully, so does the sun. That's why more Aussies are getting smart with SolarHeart. Go solar today and get up to $1,000 off a SolarHeart solar power system and battery package. That's right, get up to $1,000 off when you purchase a 5 kilowatt and above SolarHeart solar power system and an eligible GoodWe battery. Lower your energy bills with every sunrise. Get smart. Get SolarHeart. Terms and conditions apply.
I am in a relationship. She said she thought I'd get the name of the Black Eyed Peas frontman wrong. I said, will I now?
World-class belly laughs are back with the iconic Best of the Edinburgh Fest here at the Adelaide Fringe.
Sometimes I like to sleep in the fetal position, which isn't very comfortable for my mum.
Best of the Edinburgh Fest. Early and late shows to suit everyone. February 16 to March 17 in the Garden. Book at adelaidefringe.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
21 after 6. Let's get some texts happening because there's a few that have come through just from the opening chat. We'll get to news headlines in a moment. Dutton's texts 0 to 5.
Yes. One here from Wally the Walnut says she's a great player, Sam Kerr, but she should be stripped of the captaincy pending this. Thanks for that, Wally. I tell you what, this is an indicator of how risky it is for the Mayor of Kangaroo Island, Michael Pengelly, to sound blasé or ambivalent about what's happening with those koalas. Because when we got in this morning, there were already texts, even before Will and I had said good morning Adelaide and 6:05 and blah. There were already several texts here from people expressing their disgust about what's happening. Now, I'm sure that on KI there would be a lot of people, and I think the Mayor, and we like the bloke. You know, we got a lot of time for Michael Pengelly. He's a straight shooter, he's a stirrer, he says what he thinks, and there's not enough people like that anymore.
Well, he's falling foul of the reason we like him is he never speaks like a politician.
I know, and on this...
He needed to speak like a politician a little bit more.
He did, and I think the fact that both the Labor and Liberal parties here on the mainland have both come out going, yeah, it's not a good look. People are really, really upset about it. People like Mark from Para Hills. These pictures of the KI koalas are disgusting, and I don't think much of the Mayor, Michael Pengelly. Another one prior to the show. It's absolutely disgusting, this so-called logging that's going on with the koalas. They're part of an ecosystem, keep our wildlife, protect our nature. Other countries live with animals in harmony. Once it's gone, it can never be replaced. And Sue in Christie's Beach put a bit more perspective on it. She said, morning guys, I have family on KI. We spoke yesterday. Then she says, the media is beating it up a bit, but there is not one koala but lots. However, they have been suffering and starving since the fires. It really is a no-win situation.
It's sort of what Michael Pengelly was saying.
Yeah. But I think downplaying the imagery and the impact of it and brushing off the potential impact this could have on people's willingness to visit the island, I think that's a bit too...
You know what it reminded me of? And I say this with the utmost respect because these people are hugely important to the economy in Australia and as employers and feeding us, frankly. But it reminded me whenever an issue would come up in politics and you'd hear how the country MPs in the Liberal Party would talk about it differently from the Metro MPs. Blokes who are largely farmers and an issue of, we'll say, live trade would come up. And there's just... People that grow up on the farm talk about death and these sorts of things in a different tone to people in the city that don't see it every day.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And that's what Michael Pengelly sounded like. He sounded like a farmer to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I can remember as a kid being taken on a school holiday to an abattoir. And I'll tell you what.
Eye-opening experience?
I can remember watching the sheep being killed, and it was the most horrible thing I've ever seen. Well, I was traumatised. I was probably only like 7 years old. Yet I'll happily spend an hour waltzing the aisles at Goodwood Quality Meats and having a long chat to Dave about his new smoking cabinet out the back. That's my idea of a fun afternoon. You know, so we don't make that link, do we?
Yeah, so I think there's a bit of that going on. I mean, city-country divide.
Not that the analogy's not perfect because it's not like we're eating koalas.
No, that's right. And these, say what you will, they weren't killed humanely. No. These koalas, it was awful.
Correct.
Let's do a couple of quick news headlines. A man from Inglefalm will face court today following his arrest yesterday in the CBD. He was allegedly involved in a disturbance and assault in a Franklin Street shop around 5:30 p.m. He was then reported throwing stones at passing vehicles on the same street. The 46-year-old's been charged with theft, 2 counts of assault, throwing a missile and disorderly behaviour. A national survey has found Australians want the federal government to spend much more on nature conservation. 95% of respondents to the Monash University study supported increased investment in the environment. 3 in 4 people believe 2% of the federal budget should be spent on nature. Biodiversity Council Director James Trezise says the great outdoors is part of our national identity.
It's unsurprising that people want to see nature looked after, and there is a strong expectation that governments will step up and invest the money needed, along with creating the frameworks for business to step up and lift its game in terms of investing in nature protection.
I always like surveys that ask people, would you like something more spent on something? In the absence of what would you like less spent on?
Yeah. A lot of these surveys, they're designed to...
Like, everyone wants more spent on. Yeah, we should. The environment, defence, healthcare, education, police,
focus groups.
We should all spend more. All right, well, which one do you want to take from?
Yeah, get the answer you want too.
Exactly.
Depending on your lobby group.
A man's been arrested in Broome, has been questioned over an accident involving the restraint of 2 children. Police say they were called to a home in Cable Beach just after 2 p.m. yesterday in response to a reported trespass incident. When officers arrived, they found a 6-year-old girl and 7-year-old boy physically restrained with cable ties. The children had been swimming in the man's pool. They were assessed by paramedics and reunited with family. The weather today is a story like it has been to start autumn. Top of 34 today, 20 degrees right now, still dropping away as we head towards the peak in the middle of the day. Top of 33 tomorrow, 36 Friday, 39 on Saturday, 36 Sunday, 36 Monday, 32 Tuesday. There's no relief in sight if you don't like the hot weather. If you do like it, you're going to love what's coming up over the next few days. The UV index, geez, it's pretty high every day. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app today. Predicted to reach 9, which is considered very high. Tom Brenn's in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Agostina Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on the 2023 Build Outlander. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Everyone watching the AFL Tribunal last night wondering what would happen. 7 weeks, the penalty for St Kilda's Jimmy Webster. It was we were thinking that range of 6 to 8. I think it's probably about right. Even the man himself, Webster, thinks the penalty was probably fair. Let's have a listen.
To Jai and Jai's family, I'm really sorry about what happened on the weekend. It's something I'm really embarrassed about. It's not what I stand for as a person or a player. This is something we really want to stamp out of our game. I'm going to miss a fair chunk of footy this year. So 7 weeks on the sideline, and rightfully so.
Look, he said all the right things, didn't he? He showed contrition. I thought he was pretty good after his family members probably dropped him in a bit further.
Geez,
I thought he did pretty
good.
The
only part of what he said yesterday I struggled with was him saying, I'll leave my family out of it. It's like, well, they're the ones that get running around on social media saying fair bump, play on, while the North Melbourne
with
guys,
a laughing emoji.
Yeah, with a laughing emoji. While the bloke, he's missing the first game of the year beyond the concussion protocol. I reckon it's unders.
Yeah.
It's easily
the AFL
twice as bad.
And I thought that sounds about right.
Well, okay, it's twice as bad as what Sam Powell-Pepper did, yes or no?
Yeah, I think it's deliberate.
It's vastly worse than what Sam Powell-Pepper did. You can see him lining him up. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had a problem if it was 8, so, 7. And that's why he's not going to appeal. I think St Kilda went in basically just hands in the air. We'll take whatever you give us. So, fully understanding. Hopefully now he can move on. Jai Simpkin can get back. 3 concussions in 12 months for him now. It's not good.
Not at all. And you know what the part of the issue with this is? If this was a broken bone or a leg, the guy you'd injure, you see instantly the result. The really awful thing about concussion is, like Angus Brayshaw, we don't remember any of the hits that Angus Brayshaw copped until the last one. Well, there was plenty of others over the course of the journey that probably led to him having to ultimately retire.
That's right.
Well, Jai Simpkin goes, he'll miss a week because of this. Well, maybe he retires at the end of the year too. We don't know what the full extent of it is.
Yeah,
it doesn't play out until much later into the future.
Exactly.
And it feels like that should be a factor.
And we still don't know, how significant the concussions are going to be for the rest of their lives,
Totally.
etc. So that's the other issue. Crows AGM last night, good result, operating profit of over $1 million. First sod at Thebarton going to be turned around mid-year. That's the hope still, with the hope of, having the completion in 2026. And well done to Graham, who I work with in the newsroom, and obviously your old man, Will, re-elected to the board. 72%, outstanding result for him. So
That's
great
Donald,
reward.
Donald Trump-esque figures like that.
Yeah,
I think it was a Trump-like campaign.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit like that.
Make Adelaide great again.
Yeah.
Well, God knows we've been waiting long enough. If somebody can.
Yeah, spot on.
Good on the GG.
No, well done, GG. It was
That's
great.
good.
Well
My brother's delighted he can continue to call for the board's head by texting
yeah.
Dad.
Sack the board.
One of his favourite things to do on match day. Board needs to go. I'm not joking.
I wouldn't try that at home.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, boys.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Thanks, fellas. Sunny and 32 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Facebook and Instagram have been restored after a major global outage saw the social media platform shut down. Gabriel Hodson reports.
The drama began this morning at precisely 8 minutes after 2 Sydney time. Facebook, WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram and Threads all went offline. Users across the world were automatically logged out with the correct passwords rejected, or they were told their session had expired or simply something went wrong. It's affected websites as well as apps. Despite its declining popularity with young people, Facebook still has more than 3 billion active monthly users. Facebook and its related platforms all went down for about 6 hours back in 2021 and for 24 hours during an outage in 2019.
Questions have been raised about the secrecy surrounding Matildas captain Sam Kerr's harassment charge after bosses at Football Australia were left in the dark. Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey.
Here at Stamford Bridge, the home of Chelsea FC, there's still nothing coming from the club more than 24 hours since this story broke. There's nothing from Sam Kerr either via statement or on her social media accounts at this stage. There is an interesting development perhaps regarding court. We know she's got to wait until next February for that trial, for which she's already pleaded not guilty to the charge, but there is an April court date listed where it's understood lawyers for her will be arguing abuse of process. We know a big issue in Australia is the fact that football bosses were caught blindsided by this. They claim they had no idea that this was coming, and we'll have to wait and see if there are any repercussions for Sam Kerr regarding that. Same too for her club Chelsea FC, where she's been a star since 2019.
The first real increase of public housing in a generation is underway, with the government putting out a call for builders. Tenders for 167 public homes to be built across the state worth between $50 and $60 million have been released. Human Services Minister Nat Cook says the SA Housing Authority is building more than 1,000 new homes over 4 years.
We have put out one of the biggest tenders ever for public homes, of 167 to be built over the next year or so, and the value of that tender is between $50 and $60 million. So we certainly are calling out for local builders who'd like to join our team to help us complete this huge project pipeline that we're delivering right across South Australia.
There'll be a court appearance today linked to a disturbance and assault in Franklin Street. A man allegedly tried to steal items, then assaulted staff at a shop around 5:30 last night. The 46-year-old was then reported throwing stones at passing cars. He's facing a string of charges, including assault and disorderly behaviour. Scientists at La Trobe University have found links between two debilitating conditions, long COVID and chronic fatigue syndrome. Research fellow Dr. Sarah Annesley says both illnesses, there's a lot of overlap between the two, including exposure to viral illnesses, and about half of long COVID patients go on to develop CFS.
Long COVID is clearly caused by the infection with the SARS-CoV-2 virus, whereas ME/CFS can be triggered by many different viruses and also some other type of, insult to the body. SARS-CoV-2 may be yet just another virus that can lead to ME/CFS.
Now turning to 5AA Sports.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $2,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Triton.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Let's start with footy. St Kilda's Jimmy Webster will miss the first 7 rounds of the season after being slapped with a hefty ban at last night's AFL tribunal. The man who he hit, North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin, has already been ruled out of round 1 because of concussion. Well, meantime, AFL captains have had their say on the upcoming season a day before it begins. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
The captains of each AFL club have answered a series of questions on the season ahead. They unanimously agree Collingwood will play finals, while Brisbane is considered most likely to play in the grand final. Marcus Bontempelli is once again the overwhelming favourite to take out the Brownlow medal. Charlie Curnow tipped to win the Coleman. Number 1 draft pick Harley Reid is the top pick to take out the Rising Star. And when it comes to grand final entertainment, the majority of skippers want to see Coldplay at the MCG.
Let's go to soccer. The Champions League round of 16 continues this morning. Lazio leads Bayern Munich 1-0 heading into this second leg, while PSG holds a 2-0 lead over Real Sociedad. Former Manchester United goalkeeper and Stan Sport commentator Mark Bosnich says Bayern will be desperate to turn things around.
Their last chance of winning any type of silverware, so they're 1-0 down, everything to play for. They haven't been knocked out of the round of 16 in the Champions League for quite some time.
And large swells and strong winds are forecast for the competition window for the World Surf Tour's next stop in Portugal. The waiting period opens tonight. And Graham, before I go, a big congratulations. Re-elected to the board, thoroughly deserved. Well done.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your comments.
Great stuff.
Looking forward to the next 2 years. Well, now the FIVEAA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny and 32 today, tomorrow mostly sunny 33, Friday sunny 36, then the scorchers, Saturday sunny 39. Right now it's 21. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7. Got any questions about sleep, a good night's sleep, how to get it, what counts as good sleep or the risks of not? We're going to be chatting with a chronic insomniac, Dr. Michael Mosley, in a moment, who is behind a new SBS documentary series called Australia's Sleep Revolution, where, interestingly, and I wasn't aware of this, he teams up with researchers from Flinders University, who are the best sleep institute in Australia, to get a sense of how well do Australians sleep, what are the sort of pitfalls and so forth. We're going to talk about that in just a few moments' time. We should do some Dutton's texts first, though, because there's a stack of those that came through in the first hour of the program this morning. Big 10 Ford, GW Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Dutton's easy to do business with.
I like this one here from Rob. He's a funny guy, Rob in Clearview. I hear that Graham Gooding's acceptance speech on being re-elected went, "I ran a great campaign, some might say the greatest campaign ever." I wouldn't say that, but some might, and I'll keep Sleepy John on his toes.
Sleepy John. I don't think he said that.
This is a good one. This is about the terrible comment that Alistair Clarkson made. Should Alistair Clarkson get a suspension? Taylor Walker got 6 games for a comment overheard by somebody. Clarkson, a senior coach, approached an opposing team's player and made the remarks, why shouldn't he get a few games? He should know better. It is pretty out of line what Clarko did. And it's a term that I'm certainly not going to say it on air, but it is clearly a homophobic term.
So in the context it was being applied, yes.
Yeah. If it was a, I mean, I thought the woke AFL had zero tolerance on that sort of stuff. Do the rules not apply if you're regarded as a good bloke?
No, well, regarded as an ornament to the game.
Is he? Is that what he's regarded as?
Well, he's one of the great coaches in the history of the game.
He gets a bit angry at times, though, Clarko, doesn't he?
Does he get a bit angry?
He got angry down the road at North Terrace after that Port game that time. He got angry at his kids' footy one day too, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's had a few blow-ups.
Yeah, he's renowned for living on the edge.
One here from Jeff in Salisbury. Morning, fellas. If you're wondering why everything's going up, what about Airbrush Albo just gave Asian countries $2 billion of taxpayers' money for his climate policy? Australia is being strangled. And Wendy urging perspective on the koala question, saying, David Will, people must realise koalas were introduced to Kangaroo Island. As they are not indigenous, they can surely be relocated. Enjoy the day. I think, yeah, I get your point, Wendy. I think the thing is, though, the manner by which they're being relocated is the problem here. If they were being picked up and placed in a box lined with lamb's wool and taken to the other side of the island, I don't think we'd be talking about it.
Watching them fall off trees as they're being logged is pretty gruesome.
Kaz in Brompton makes a good point. The Sam Kerr story highlights the fact that British courts are as slow as Australia's. It's over 12 months and counting since that alleged offence happened.
Crazy.
You know, the other thing, I just read there's an updated version of the Sam Kerr story now. Apparently her defence team are going to argue that the whole thing should be thrown out.
Yeah.
For abuse, or is it abusive process? Not following due process? I don't know what that even means in a legal sense, but yeah, they're saying no case to answer.
Well, we'll jump back into that story after 7 o'clock this morning. 4 in 10 Australians are battling sleep issues at the moment, and it's the subject of a new SBS documentary series, Australia's Sleep Revolution, with Dr. Michael Mosley. It starts tonight on SBS at 7:30 p.m. and SBS On Demand. Dr. Michael Mosley joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Now, Dr. Mosley, good morning to you. This is pretty close to home for you as a chronic insomniac yourself.
Absolutely. Good morning to you. The reason I wanted to do it is partly because I'm a chronic insomniac, but also partly because I really wanted to take part in a clinical trial which was being run by the Sleep Centre at Flinders University, world-class place. And I thought it would benefit me, but it would also make really interesting telly.
Yeah, I must admit, Dr. Mosley, I saw the ad last night on TV, and I was thinking I definitely want to watch this because it's a weird thing. And is it something that people are a bit too cavalier by half about, where they think, well, having trouble getting to sleep, it's not really the end of the world, but it feeds into all sorts of health problems, does it not?
It does, and there are a lot of people for whom, sleep is a serious problem. They either really struggle to go to sleep or they struggle to stay asleep. Typical time, is waking up at 3 a.m. and finding it really hard to go back to sleep. There are people who have sleep apnea where they stop breathing during the night, and all sorts of weird things that happen during the night. And it does have a big impact on the nation's mental health as well as physical health. And that was one reason for doing the series as well, was kind of try and move it a bit up the political agenda and make people aware that there are treatment options available, because a lot of people just kind of despair and they just assume that they just have to go on feeling knackered for the rest of their life. But well, we were trying to offer hope, basically. You can change.
Can I ask you, how little do you sleep to qualify as a chronic insomniac?
Well, broadly speaking, it's if you feel sort of tired all the time. It's based on sort of particular questionnaires you fill in. And it means it's not the person who has the occasional bad night, but it's where you have a long string of bad nights and where it's impacting your daily life, if you like, and your relationships with other people. That's kind of what we mean more about chronic insomniac. As I said, it's not somebody who goes out and has a few beers and then sleeps rather badly. It's rather more severe than that.
In terms of the causes of insomnia, Dr. Mosley, is it largely a mental thing or is it a physical thing? Or because I've always associated it with people having too much on their mind. Is that a myth?
No, absolutely. It's multi things. So one of the reasons why we have this sort of rise in sleep problems is to do with the fact that people are feeling under stress. They're working horrible hours. There's also all the sort of tech which makes its way into the bedroom. And on top of that, we're eating a lot of ultra-processed junk food, which doesn't help at all. But there are, for example, something like sleep apnea, where you stop breathing during the night. That has very physical causes. It's because, your tongue is falling back and blocking your airways. There's nothing terribly psychological about that. On the other hand, if you do wake up at 3 a.m. and you find it hard to go back to sleep, then yeah, absolutely, stress can play a role. And in the series, we go into ways to deal with that. But it kind of works both ways in the sense that if you sleep badly, then that makes you more stressed. And if you're more stressed, you'll sleep badly. So you get caught up in this horrible, vicious cycle.
Let's bring Professor Danny Eckert into this conversation from the aforementioned Flinders University Sleep Health Unit. Professor Eckert, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Is 8 hours the magic number, or is that outdated thinking?
Look, it depends on your age, but for adults, the recommendation is getting north of 7 hours per night for a happy, healthy life. So you pick an organ, and if you're getting insufficient sleep, then that part of the body could potentially be adversely affected if you're not getting enough sleep or disrupted sleep to due to one of the sleep disorders that we've been talking about.
And on that 7 hour figure, then is that can you catch up if you get 6 5 nights a week and then 8 2 nights on the weekend? Is that any better?
Look, it's interesting, and it's a big part of our modern 24-hour society now. That we call this actually that pattern that you've just described, social jet lag, where throughout the week people are. To get through their busy work week, they're cutting back on sleep, and then they're trying to catch up on weekends. Now, whilst your function by Monday, if you get 2 or 3 good nights over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, your function can come back to near normal. What we know is over time that pattern is associated with high blood pressure and other health consequences, weight gain. So it is not a healthy pattern. Our body loves regularity. It loves getting enough sleep regularly. And even though, as I said, you might be able to function again on Monday much better than you were on Friday, overall it's having an adverse effect on your health.
This is a partially self-interested question, Professor Eckert, but for people who work unusual hours, we've got a lot of shift workers who listen to the show. Is there any research around sleeping in sort of in shifts? Having like a broken sleep where you might have a longer sleep, like a 5 hour sleep during the day, and then maybe a 1 hour nap to top yourself up.
Yeah, look, and these are challenges. 17% of Australians are shift workers. And so, yes, being on the radio early start, you and other listeners, this is a big issue for our society. And we know that it's difficult sleeping against what we call your circadian rhythm or your body clock when you have to sleep at unusual hours, and you can't keep that regular hour. So, yes, certainly trying to get as much sleep as you can when you can help your function. But unfortunately, we know that these shift work sleep patterns, and look, I've been a sleep researcher for 25 years. I've done my fair share of nights over the years. It can affect your daytime function and your health in the long term. Big study in America, the Nurses Sleep Heart Health Study, where they looked at shift work patterns in nursing, really showed really bad outcomes for heart health and a range of mental health outcomes for people who are regular shift workers. So it's a challenge, but yes, there are some things you can do to try and optimise your sleep, but it's not easy.
Staggering figures, 40% of Australians are having sleep issues. Well worth watching. We have a fascinating documentary series for our listeners to get into. Big thanks to Dr. Michael Mosley and indeed to Professor Danny Eckert from Flinders Sleep Health. And just to lighten the mood, Steve's texted in from Westlake saying, well, Pemo, look, it's not all bad news for insomniacs. Only 87 sleeps till Christmas. Well, if that is you, make sure you're tuning in tonight, 7:30pm, Australia's Sleep Revolution on SBS and SBS On Demand. We read that at the risk of sounding frivolous, but we do live by the motto, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. That's right, exactly. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Keezer. Are you tired of back pain? We'll try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are looking after themselves today. No great hassles getting to work, which is excellent. A few works to keep in mind for later on in the morning around Dry Creek. They always get busy there, north-south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. Also some activity at Pennington today, Addison Road near Hodgman Road, and works at the moment at McGill, Penfold Road near Adelaide Street. Getting busy, Brighton Road, Brighton, with a camera at Gate Street at Fern. Varicose veins aren't just a cosmetic issue. Let the medical team at the Vein Institute assess the best way to restore your leg health. Visit theveininstitute.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You deserve a new car. And you definitely deserve a holiday. You could win a Mercedes and a luxury getaway to the Maldives. But you've got just 2 days until the bonus deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Plus, your tickets stay in the draw for the $3.6 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize at Henley Beach. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. HomeLottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Now, in Australia, this is a shocking statistic. About 2,300 kids are living with childhood dementia, and it takes 91 lives a year.
If you're anything like us, you want to know what you can do to help. And thankfully, two local legends are teaming up to make a difference and giving you the opportunity to join them.
That's right. South Australian charity Little Heroes Foundation is dedicated to finding treatments for and eventually curing childhood dementia. And South Australian salad producer High Fresh Salads, great business, they're committed to doing their part.
I don't think it was until Chris McDermott came on our program and we were speaking about some of the work the Little Heroes Foundation does before millions of people would have understood how prevalent childhood dementia is. I certainly didn't.
I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, neither did I. And this is why it's such an important thing that they're doing. So what you need to do is you purchase any High Fresh Salads, prepackaged salads, that features the Little Heroes logo, and part proceeds will go toward the fight to end childhood dementia while providing support for families in need.
I've had their salads. They're excellent. They do all the mesclun and the rocket and everything else. You can find High Fresh Salads, prepackaged salads, at your local independent supermarket and greengrocer.
Austrac campers have ingenious storage everywhere, inside, outside, from the front to the back. There's room to put everything you'll ever need. If only I knew where we've kept the spare toilet rolls.
Austrac campers! Jarvis Toyota has moved to their brand new home in Brighton Road, Somerton Park. So now is the time to take advantage of opening savings across the entire Hilux range, including the Hilux GR Sport. Hilux, the unbreakable connection since 1968, will be stronger than ever with the first ever Hilux GR Sport, inspired with Dakar DNA, available now and boasting more power and torque. Jarvis Toyota, now at Brighton Road, Somerton Park, proudly celebrating 22 years of great deals.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 to 7, let's get some finer details on the weather with Mark Anelak from the Bureau of Meteorology. Mark, good morning to you. Beyond it being hot, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, guys. A little bit of high cloud around at first this morning, but that should break up later this afternoon a little bit. So we're looking at partly cloudy conditions this afternoon and a top of 34 degrees. And as you say, hot for the rest of the week, really. 33 tomorrow, 36 on Friday, and the long weekend, a hot 39 on Saturday, 36 on Sunday, 36 on Monday. So dry and hot for the next few days.
And after the fascinating chat we had with you yesterday, Mark, we've started keeping a daily running tally. We're now up to today's day 39 with no rain.
That's exactly right. 39 days so far, and we've got a couple more weeks before we break any records.
Yeah, no, we'll keep on that.
Feels like it's in play.
Oh, well and truly. Do you reckon there's half a chance, Mark, of breaking the record?
It's probably too early to call at this stage.
Yeah, very prudent of you.
Mark, you're all scientific.
Gamble responsibly.
We're all gut feel here. Good on you, Mark. Mark Anelak at the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Matt Brown's on the line. Matt, more details on this awful fatal crash yesterday.
That's right. We were about 7:45 a.m. yesterday. Emergency services were called to Horrocks Pass Road near the Augusta Highway after reports of a two-car crash about 20 k's south of Port Augusta. The driver and sole occupant of the Hyundai, a 19-year-old man from Stirling North, died at the scene, and the driver and sole occupant of the Ford station wagon, a 55-year-old woman from Wallawi, was airlifted to hospital, so injuries are not considered to be life-threatening. But the man's death is the 17th life lost on SA roads this year, compared to 29 at the same time last year. And Horrocks Pass Road was closed while major crash investigators attended the scene, but all roads have reopened in the area.
Shocking news, Matt. Also, a drink driver has been caught at Hectorville overnight.
That's right, David. Just after 12 a.m, police stopped a Toyota on Glenburn Road at Hectorville, and licence checks revealed the driver, a 29-year-old woman from Paralawi, held a learner's permit, but no L plates were displayed on the vehicle, and she underwent a roadside breath test, but then refused a further breath analysis test back at the station. So she was reported for refusing a breath test. Her car was impounded for 28 days, and she received a 12-month immediate loss of licence notice, so she will receive a summons to appear in court at a later date.
All right, thank you for that,
stuff,
Matt. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL.
Not good stuff at all. A couple here about the Clarko and the shocking name he called the North Melbourne player. What's his name? Webster. Jimmy Webster.
Jimmy Webster.
Ree Clarko, yeah, he shouldn't have mouthed off, but I hardly think his language was hell-worthy. And as for him trespassing, get a grip, people, in terms of him getting angry at that kids' game, if I recall correctly, one of the kids was potentially injured, and his error was charging on the pitch during the game, having no official affiliation with either team, and then mouthing off when he was challenged over it. Another one here simply says, Alistair Clarkson is a recidivist. And one here's about Dr. Michael Mosley says, Dr. Mosley probably doesn't sleep because he's so hungry all the time. Because he did do that show about not eating pies.
That's right. He did. It
was good to finally chat to him. We had a bit of a Lance Armstrong moment with him, didn't we? Remember that we did that pre-recorded interview with him and the whole thing wouldn't play?
Oh, did we? I don't
6 months
remember
ago.
that.
We interviewed him about that show.
I remember the show.
About eating the pies and the
it didn't
Australian
work.
diet. Yeah, and because we did it through
Are you
Facebook.
being kind? Did I stuff it up?
Will, I don't even know what you do over there. So far be it from me to
My
pass
memory's
judgment.
so bad, I'm not sure whether you're just being generous to me. Did I not push record?
No, maybe not.
I believe it.
Sam will also remember. I think Sam was here doing it.
Okay.
Maybe it was his fault. Let's blame him.
Sue on the Duttons text line says, this is funny. This is very true. People are so funny. We're desperate for rain, but here we are hanging out to break the record. Yeah.
It is funny, isn't it?
I think, when you get so tantalisingly close to a record, you think, oh, well, we might as well go another few more days to get there.
Strange the way the human brain works.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Coming up to 3 minutes to 7, we're going to catch up with Jade very shortly, who's out on the road for us, thanks to the great people at Duttons. They're driving around. Then after 7 o'clock today, we'll go around the courts with Sean Fuster. We'll talk about the latest out of Super Tuesday in the US. 15 states today making a determination on whether it'll be Donald Trump who fulfills the Republican nomination or Nikki Haley, and more academically, it'll be Joe Biden on the Democrat side of things. The polling would suggest anything other than a total wipeout from Nikki Haley's perspective would be a huge surprise. Today's the day; it'll be official. Nikki Haley will walk away after this.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think 100 million people going to the polls today, albeit that's of both persuasions, but 15 states, and it works out to...
and it's a mix of Democrat and Republican states, isn't it?
That's right. And you got this curious thing where there's no consistency with how they do it in the US either. So in some states you have to be a party member. They're called closed primaries. In some states you can just be a guy who's voted Democrat your whole life and say, I'm going to turn up and vote for Nikki Haley in the Republican primary. So,
which is probably what happened in Washington, D.C. A lot of people who actually are Democrats would have voted for Haley just to try to get her up ahead of Trump.
So that's all happening at the moment. We'll get you across the latest on that very shortly. We'll talk more about Sam Kerr and also some interesting developments at the Adelaide airport, where they're pushing for a really exciting slew of new direct flights in and out of Adelaide. We'll talk about that as well.
If there's one thing Adelaide could do with it, it's more of that.
Absolutely.
Is Qantas in the mix, or are they still...
Oh, no, we're a long way away from Qantas here.
Still don't know that Adelaide exists.
5AA News Time.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Some Austrac campers come with smart TVs, so you can still go away camping and not miss your favourite streaming episode. Oh, Ma! I knew he was going to cheat on her.
Austrac campers.
Recording receipts, but in a snap. Stashing them in your glove box, but storing them online instead. With Xero, it's business but better. Start your free 30-day trial at xero.com.
How awesome! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has plenty of Tiguans and Amaroks in stock. Tiguan Allspace is a 7-seater with plenty of room and plenty of smarts, featuring auto park, adaptive cruise control and lane assist. And the latest generation Amarok has a big 1-ton payload and 3.5-ton towing capacity. But inside, you'll get all the comforts of a luxury vehicle.
There's plenty of stock that must go. Hurry in for a deal. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
I am in a relationship. She said she thought I'd get the name of the Black Eyed Peas frontman wrong. I said, will I now?
World-class belly laughs are back with the iconic Best of the Edinburgh Fest here at the Adelaide Fringe.
Sometimes I like to sleep in the fetal position, which isn't very comfortable for my mum.
Best of the Edinburgh Fest. Early and late shows to suit everyone. February 16 to March 17 in the Garden. Book at adelaidefringe.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Keep your body in shape with Physio Extra clinical Pilates and group exercise classes. PhysioExtra.com.
A meeting of Southeast Asian leaders will wrap up in Melbourne today with a range of measures to further deepen our economic ties in the region. Federal Politics editor Michael Packey.
The Prime Minister hosted 400 delegates, including 10 ASEAN leaders, at a gala dinner at the National Gallery of Victoria. In a sign of the sensitivities surrounding the gathering, the whole building was fenced off with steel frames wrapped in black canvas to prevent the dinner being disrupted by potential protesters. The Albanese government says it's keen to strengthen economic ties in the growing region, but it also needs to straddle differences over China, with some countries very supportive of Beijing, while others have a frosty relationship. Today, the government will announce an additional $61 million to drive investment with ASEAN countries.
Matildas captain Sam Kerr's legal team is seeking to have her charges dismissed over abuse of process. The 30-year-old is accused of racially harassing a police officer in London. The legal team will head back to court to avoid a criminal trial, arguing Crown prosecutors took almost 12 months to lay the charge. US President Joe Biden is warning there are no excuses for not allowing more aid into Gaza. Israel is refusing to join ceasefire talks until Hamas produces a list of hostages it's holding. The BBC's Wira Davis reports.
For the past 3 days, envoys from Hamas have been talking to American, Egyptian and Qatari mediators to try and end the fighting in Gaza and free the remaining Israeli hostages before the Muslim holy month of Ramadan starts in a few days. But Israel has refused to take part until Hamas produces a list of hostages who are still alive. While the American president today blamed Hamas for the impasse over peace talks, Joe Biden also urged Israel to address the humanitarian situation in Gaza, saying there were no excuses and we must get aid in.
There'll be a court appearance today linked to a disturbance and assault in Franklin Street. A man allegedly tried to steal items, then assaulted staff at a shop around 5:30 last night. The 46-year-old was then reported throwing stones at passing cars. He's facing a string of charges, including assault and disorderly behaviour. Millions of Americans are heading to the polls for Super Tuesday to vote for their presidential nominees. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Ballots are being cast in 15 states and 1 territory for both the Republican and Democratic nominees for November's presidential election. Donald Trump is seeking to further cement his place as the one to take on Joe Biden. Nikki Haley is the last remaining Republican challenger to Donald Trump. She has said she will stay in this race until at least today. The test for Republicans will be in the turnout and the support she still carries.
New data has found motorists are not being given enough time to react at a set of traffic lights, according to scientists. Drivers only have 1 second to decide whether they stop or go on a yellow, which experts say isn't enough to make a safe decision. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Outlander.
And good morning, Tom Wren.
Very good morning to you as well, Graham. Well, the votes are in from the AFL skippers for the upcoming season, with every one of them predicting Collingwood to make finals this season. Interestingly, 10 skippers are predicting the Crows to make the top 8, but only 7 think Port will get there. West Coast young gun Harley Reid is the most popular pick to win the Rising Star Award, with North Melbourne's George Wardlaw also predicted to go well. Still on football, and St Kilda will not appeal a 7-game ban on Jimmy Webster over a heavy head-high bump. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
It's the biggest suspension handed down by the AFL Tribunal since Andrew Gaff punched Andrew Brayshaw, breaking his jaw in 2018. St Kilda veteran Jimmy Webster has been banned for 7 matches after bumping North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin in the head.
It's something I'm really embarrassed about. It's not what I stand for as a person or a player. I'm really sorry and hope you recover.
He accepts the Tribunal's verdict and won't be available until the Saints face the Kangaroos in round 8.
This is something we really want to stamp out of our game. So yeah, I'm going to miss a fair chunk of footy this year. Rightfully so.
Well, there's about 15 minutes to play in the opening half of European Champions League action this morning, and it's Paris Saint-Germain leading Real Sociedad 1-0, while it's 0-0 between Bayern Munich and Lazio. And Simona Halep has been cleared to return to the tennis court after her doping ban was reduced to 9 months on appeal. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery bonus prize deadline is midnight Friday. homelottery.com.au.
Morning there, no great hassles for the drive in today. We're accident breakdown free, which is nice. Still have some works to keep in mind for later on in the morning. Dry Creek, you'll find them north-south motorway to the Wingfield interchange. Bit sluggish at the moment at St Mary's, road plates there. South Road near Princess Parade, speeds at 40. It does get busy at McGill. Penfold Road near Adelaide Street, speeds at 40 there too. Cameras Gate Street, Firle and McGill Road at McGill. On Audi A3 and Q3 models, take advantage of 3 years, 45,000 kilometres scheduled servicing until March 31 at your preferred Audi dealer. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Hot and getting hotter. Sunny today, 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 33. Friday, sunny, 36. And Saturday, the stinker, sunny, 39. Right now, it's 20. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, and good morning to you joining us for the very first time on this Wednesday, the 6th of March. Right now, it's just over 20 degrees. There might be a brief patch tomorrow morning that's under 20, but from that day forth until Tuesday of next week, the temperature gauge will never drop below 20 degrees. Hot weather in the middle of the day, some hot nights on the way for the weekend as well. Lots coming up this hour on the program. Sean Fuster's going to join us. We'll go around the courts with Sean after 7:30. We're going to open up the Smeg rumour file. We've got a magnificent Smeg appliance to give away. Koshy will join us to talk about the state of the nation. Lots of interesting economic stories to get Koshy's to take the temperature for us on after 8 o'clock. But let's jump into the news cycle this morning. Now, we start where I think we started yesterday, but with some further developments on the case of the 30-year-old Matildas captain and Australian sporting icon Sam Kerr, who, of course, we discovered yesterday, sensationally, it was revealed, was charged with aggravated racial harassment of a police officer. She has a date to stand trial. She's pled not guilty for her part. Now, the significant development since yesterday is that when we learned about this and were shocked yesterday, so too were Football Australia and indeed her manager, Matilda's manager, Tony Gustafsson. Here is him speaking alongside James Johnson, who's the CEO of Football Australia.
Today was the very first time I ever heard about it. I haven't spoken to Sam other than a text message just to check in on her well-being. It's very serious allegations. It regards racism, and there's no place for racism in our sport.
She left those guys in the lurch. Like they should have been in a position where, even if she said, "Look, I've got to tell you something in confidence. It can't be made public. My lawyers are trying to fight it, but I need you to know." Because you made the point, when we kicked off the show, that if not for the fact that she was injured, she'd be leading Australia into the Olympics right now with this hanging over her head. So bizarre that she
as
didn't
captain
tell
of the
them.
side.
What about Mally's Day yesterday though, where the hoopla announcement of for an undisclosed sum, South Australia has secured the rights to host the friendly against China on the cusp of the Olympics, and all the questions, rightly at the press conference, were so Sam Kerr. It sort of derailed. You
think the Sam Kerr posters have been taken down to the Malinowskis household?
Oh no, I don't think that. But it And being a lifelong politician and union boss, I'm sure that the Premier would have had a wry smile about the way the whole thing panned out, because you can never really predict anything in politics. But
now, whether she's guilty...
changed the complexion of the story, didn't it?
It did. Whether she's guilty of the charge or not is one thing, and she's pleaded not guilty, as we've said repeatedly. That will be borne out in court if it makes it that far, because her legal team are moving to have it not even get that far. The thing she is guilty of is letting down her team and letting down the people around the team that support it. And had she been not injured... And again, she didn't know she was going to be injured when she didn't tell them for the last however long. She happened in January last year and she was charged in January this year. We'd be talking about something that could well have derailed the Olympic campaign. So a real misstep from someone who hasn't made many over the course of their career. We'll continue to follow that story as it does.
So it predates the World Cup?
Yeah.
She's had it over her head this whole time?
Yes.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't come out until now.
But maybe I'm being way too sympathetic. That makes me think that in her mind, she doesn't think it's that serious.
Yeah, I think everything about her conduct suggests that she thinks this is going to be thrown out. And maybe a legal team have said to her, listen, this is just, we'll get rid of this. That doesn't excuse not telling your team.
Yeah. People are quick to write her off completely. I mean, what about this for a story? Sam Kerr's multi-million-dollar brand will suffer irreparable damage from the racism allegations she faces in the British courts, a sporting expert has declared. Why don't we wait to see what happens in the trial first?
She's guilty. Oh, we don't do that anymore, David. That's a antiquated way of thinking about things. You're going to wait to find out if people are guilty or innocent.
Well, I don't know. Call me old-fashioned.
Social media retired that whole approach to things.
You can be cancelled on
no
the
one
basis
waits.
of a claim.
No one waits.
I think it's scary. I think it's really scary.
It is. It's a disgrace. Let's head out on the road. It's where we find Jade Robran, thanks to the great people at Dutton's. There was a bit of an internet outage. Well, it's affected a couple of major social media sites that Jade's got some details for us on. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, David and Will and our listeners. A technical issue. It's caused a widespread freak out around the world last night. Imagine being without social media for several hours. Can you just imagine people's meltdowns in their homes? Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, also Threads, which is a fairly new kind of app, all down for several hours last night. It kicked in around about 1:30 a.m. Adelaide time, and within 20 minutes there were 22,000 Aussies that were reporting disruptions. Now, the Meta shares, they even went down. They crashed by 1.2%. There were 550,000 reports of disruptions for Facebook and 92,000 for Instagram. So it was out for a couple of hours. Now, the outage, it was among the top trending topics on X, formerly known as Twitter. So that was the only one standing. So Elon Musk would this morning be rubbing his hands with glee, saying, "Ha, I work still. I'm still relevant." But he said, if you're reading this post, it means that our servers are working. But look, guys, I was absolutely shattered by this because I really wanted to upload a clip of Will reading the news last night. I don't know, Dave, if you caught him after the story of the dead rat being found in a can of beans. Will's facial expressions were all time.
I am going to go back and see that. That sounds terrific.
That's hilarious, Jade, because our wonderful production
I've got it
team,
here.
Sam and Lucy, isolated the picture and were sort of making up quotes about what I was reacting to, and generally it was things to do with the radio. Are you looking at it now?
Yeah, I've got it here.
Oh dear.
We'll put it up on the live stream at some point. We'll let the viewers know when it is.
You absolutely have to. After watching it last night, I text Sam Dado straight away. I'm like, Sam, did you see Will? And then I caught myself with the same facial expression.
It was grotesque. It was part
the whole
of it.
rat.
It was a sort of. It was a dead rat in the beans.
Oh, my God.
It was horrific.
Not in Australia, surely.
Yeah, Adelaide Hills.
You're joking?
Yeah.
In a tin of beans?
In a tin of beans.
Yeah,
anyway.
like baked beans.
I try to be professional, Jade, but I'm only human.
Well, it was the realest real guy I've ever seen. It was the best Ron Burgundy moment I've ever seen in my life. It needs to go viral.
Thank you, Jade.
Excellent.
I was hoping that wasn't noticed.
No, I think a few people might have picked up on it now.
Well, look, it was gruesome. I don't know what I can tell you. It made me feel physically ill seeing it.
Hey, did you see those half-wits in Melbourne yesterday, Extinction Rebellion, where they got the truck and went out and blocked Westgate Bridge?
Yeah, because ASEAN's there. They wanted to make it point to Southeast Asia that pollution's bad or something.
So there's two people from Extinction Rebellion are facing jail time now, not that they'll get it, for blocking the Westgate Bridge. This is funny, though, I reckon, because we all remember our friend May Thorne, who dangled abseiled from the Morford Street Bridge last year, and it turned out that she'd appeared in an ad for Caltex or Ampol, well-known Friends of the Planet, selling, diesel and premium unleaded and all the rest of it. She said, I'm an actress, I've got to make ends meet. A journo mate of mine during the 7 o'clock news break told me he's working on a story that one of the two people facing jail in Melbourne for the Westgate Bridge incident, his day job is that he drives a concrete mixer.
Oh, friend of the earth.
Concrete. Well, yeah, I mean, you need concrete.
Yeah.
You need concrete. We can't all live in humpies, can we?
Are those concrete mixing trucks generally EVs?
No, I think most of them are massively heavy diesel fuel.
Oh, okay.
Pumping it out. But yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of the time.
I wonder what his rationalisation is for that. It just seems to be an illustration that, you can be as pure as you like on these things, but we still need to keep a roof over our heads and get from A to B.
No, it seems to be acknowledged. These people seem to think that they have pragmatic reasons why they can't always, tread lightly on the earth, but no one else has.
Yeah, that's right.
Like everyone else is a climate vandal, except them who just have to do it because, of course, they've got bills to pay.
Yeah.
100 million Americans are going to the polls as we speak in 15 states for Super Tuesday. 874 of the 2,429 Republican delegates are up for grabs. This is the day that Donald Trump will seal the nomination. Joe Biden, it's more mere formality. There is some opposition, but not particularly well organised. So he'll be the Democratic nom for the November US presidential election. The results will come out over a period of hours because there is 5 time zones are voting today. 6 time zones if you count the territory of American Samoa, which is also holding a Democratic caucus. So there won't be a time that this all starts to come through. It'll be rolling over the course of the day. No votes yet, but the New York Times has done something really interesting where around the country they've gone and asked people that are going out to vote what they think, what's informing their vote. Here is some of what they had to say.
I'm not happy with either option. I'm really disappointed that we didn't get some new leadership to steer our country forward. I feel this is a stale election. I really just don't think we should be voting for anybody in their late 70s and 80s. The things that are on the mind of an 80-year-old or 75-year-old are not the things that I'm worried about for my children the next 20 years. I think there's a lot of insecurity in younger generations being able to accomplish just the things that we took for granted. I will vote. But I have less enthusiasm than I have had in many other elections.
I did vote for Trump, and I think he is the best candidate at the moment. We want someone that's a good chief executive and someone that can handle the border crisis that we're going. It is a crisis. It is definitely a problem, an issue, especially close to us. We want someone that's decisive, someone that is understands the issues. Like, especially with the border, it seems that Trump does understand and wants what's best for all of us.
In the presidential primary, I voted for Donald Trump. I'm not inviting him home to dinner, but the man, he's a business person and he knows how to get the job done. Our country was in a better standing, financially more secure, our borders were secured, and just all in all, it was a good place to be. I am a patriot. I'm an American. So I vote for the best person who can do the job. And it doesn't matter what party they are aligned with.
The 3 people you heard from there, Cassandra, who's from Texas, Ramiro from Texas, and Laurie from California, who's a historic Democrat voter who now is a Trump voter. The thing I like about all those 3, and I think this is a credit to the New York Times, we typically hear from, in coverage of American politics, the dumbest voters out there.
Well, the crazies on
the
either
crazies
side.
on either, the crazies on the yelling, face-painted crazies on either side. They're just normal people that made especially the coverage of Trump voters is often, it's just a slew of maniacs.
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy from Texas who sees the border crisis every day.
Yeah, totally. This is the thing. I know we got a lot of Trump-loving listeners. I got to say, there's a number of Trump's policies that I have no issue with. The two problems I've got with him is weird bromance with Vladimir Putin and the fact that he caused an insurrection. But they seem to be two pretty significant black marks against his name. On the border, it is a huge crisis. It's a much more complicated crisis than he makes it sound like, because it's a crisis throughout Latin America. It's not a story about Mexican dereliction of duty. It's about people from Venezuela, Honduras and El Salvador trying to leave godforsaken hellholes to make it to a country that promises them the world, i.e. the United States.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you can see why people vote for Trump. And you can particularly see why people vote for Trump when he's up against a guy who looks like he's out of a weekend at Bernie's. Now, look, at what point, we should start a book on this. If the Dems knock him off, say, Joe, thanks for your help, you've been terrific, but we'll find somebody else. When do they do it?
I'll tell you right now, and I'm happy to stump up cash on this, it's not going to happen. I think that we look at it through Australian eyes where leaders get knocked off and this happens. Americans don't. This guy's the president. They just look at it differently to we do, even within party politics. I don't think he gets knocked off.
He's a lamb to the slaughter.
I agree. I think if he was Australia, he would have been knocked off years ago.
I reckon in July it's going to happen.
Okay.
I'll have $50 on it.
All right, let's do it.
Gamble responsibly.
This
is the world's strangest multi.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Keys. And we'll get to some of your excellent texts in a moment on the Duttons text line. Tired of back pain? We'll try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. A couple of breakdowns to look out for this morning. One at Croydon Park, South Road near Regency Road. Another one at Regency Park, also on South Road. This one's near Tominga Street. Got works at Coromandel Valley this morning. Main Road near Black Road, Spurs at 40. And look out for works at Dry Creek. Always get a bit slow. North-South motorway near the Wingfield interchange. Cameras at Bry Road, Felixstowe, and Harris Road at Vale Park. Discover more at local sellers. SA's newest locally owned local. Now open in Balaclava, Albert Park and Renmark. Visit localsellers.com for great specials. Drink responsibly. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
The Treasurer, Stephen Mulligan, on the line.
We're probably looking like hundreds of millions of dollars in additional water infrastructure needing to be built in coming years, and it's going to be difficult for me to try and accommodate that.
All right, so this does not sound good in terms of what we can expect to pay.
Matthew Pantelis.
Sounds like you're softening us up for a pretty big increase, Treasurer.
Well, we're trying to avoid that, Matthew.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZR-V, or the spacious CR-V. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Do you know how much that old fridge in the shed is adding to your electricity bill? Your energy saving solutions can collect your old inefficient fridges and freezers for free, and the best part is that you can also get up to $150 per unit. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yess.net.au.
Magic Millions SA Race Day is fast approaching on Saturday, March 9th at Thomas Farms Racecourse, Murray Bridge. This South Australian 2-year-old classic is a season highlight with a $200,000 prize on the line.
Get trackside from just $20 a person. Kids under 16 get in free, and there's plenty to keep them entertained, like amusement rides and Farmer Darcy's Travelling Farm.
There's also still time to grab a seat on the bus. Just check the website to see which stop is closest to you.
So don't miss the Magic Millions SA Race Day, Saturday, March 9 from 11 a.m. at Murray Bridge Racing Club. Turn up on the day or visit racingmurraybridge.com for tickets and details. Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality and style of Armani, Canali, Xenia, and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. Ignition for Men. ignitionformen.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
25 minutes after 7, Paul in St Mary's is called into the program. Morning to you, Paul.
G'day, Will, and Pembo. Just thought I'd give you a ring. I heard Pembo talking about Trump, a couple of items he brought up, but I couldn't believe he'd be so blasé about a fellow who's a liar, who's been proven to be a fraudster, he's a rapist, he built up more... Trump, beg your pardon.
Oh.
And I thought you missed all that. How could you just brush off a couple of points, Pembo, and forget about all the other going against Trump? I can't imagine anyone in Australia would ever vote for him if he were running for Prime Minister.
I think you might be surprised, Paul. You don't see our texts.
You should talk to some of our other listeners, Paul.
You're kidding me. They must be all fruitcakes, that's all I can say.
Oh, well, it's a bit rude. Let 1,000 flowers bloom, mate.
Thank you,
We
Paul.
don't need to take life as seriously here in Australia as they do in America. It's one of the things that makes this a vastly better place to live.
Well, yeah, there's some perils of taking life too seriously, sometimes taking medical advice too seriously. We all got told to get the jab when COVID was running riot across the world. Well, The Lancet, the medical journal, the world's foremost medical journal, has just published a report in its infectious diseases journal on a 62-year-old man from Germany who, against medical advice, was vaccinated 217 times against COVID. This guy just kept going.
217.
217 times.
Not including other vaccinations, like cold and flu.
This is all for COVID. Over a period of 29 months. So I can't even work that out.
Did
How many
he get
times
it?
in a week? No, he never got COVID. He just went and kept privately paying to get the jab. I mean, that's a booster regime, for one thing. The reason he's been studied in The Lancet, they wanted to see what happens to you if you get the jab 217 times.
Wouldn't it give you so much COVID that you probably would get COVID?
Well, no, it's an mRNA
so
vaccine.
It
tells your body.
It's the myth of COVID, isn't
exactly right. So Sam's just worked out about 7.5 jabs a month he was getting. So what's that, 2 a week? Pretty much.
It's amazing he didn't just end up sort of floating around the room like a deflated balloon.
Well, bizarrely, he suffered no ill effects. Now, The Lancet have said studying one guy doing something extremely weird is not science. It's not a sign of this is not unsafe, or it is safe. We're not making any things. We're just saying in this guy's case, he suffered no ill effects. But we wanted to ask you this morning for the $100 Unique Homestyles food voucher. This guy went and got vaccinated 217 times. What have you gone and done far, far, far more times than the average person? What
so
do
something
you
you're
do?
strangely obsessed about?
Yeah, what's something you've...
Could it include something like being obsessed with Queen's Plain Wedgwood china and getting yourself into these thought spirals where you go, I've got 8 dinner plates, what if one of them breaks? Then
I think
I'll
that
only have
counts.
7?
I think that counts.
So maybe I need to buy another 2?
Yeah, I think that counts.
And maybe I need the gravy boat
Well,
as
I reckon there'd be someone in Australia who probably went to every Taylor Swift concert when she was here.
They wouldn't want to admit so publicly.
No, you get outed by the Swifties. But what have you gone and done far more times than the average person? What have you experienced? What have you been to seen? What have you gone and bought? What makes you in the same category as the guy who got vaccinated 217 times against COVID? Give us a call and you can win $100 worth of unique homestyle foods.
We had a few of them last week from the world of music with the Pink concert.
We did.
People have seen her like 33 times and so forth.
Exactly right.
Better that than getting vaccinated 217 times.
Oh my God, twice a week. Let's check in on the sports show while we get some calls up on that front, on the things you've done many times. The $19 shindy Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel. Well, last night the boys were chatting with BT on the concussion issue.
Have you ever jumped late, shirt-fronted someone, head high? I mean, Webster, BT. I mean, we've all had brain fades, but that's up there, isn't it?
Never shirt-fronted anyone in my life. I've punched a few in the mouth, but other than that, I've been shirt-fronted anyone because I've never quite got that momentum up. But, yeah, my opinion on this, and I'm sort of in a lot of ways reluctant to put it forward because, you know, people knock it down, etc., etc. But I'm just wondering whether if players have concussions in their first years of football, first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, whether that should be it for them, whether from that point on, the AFL should look at them and say, I'm sorry, but this game is probably not for you.
I might get to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It quite possibly could. More discussion on that on the sports show tonight with Rowie and Timmy G. We're getting some entries coming in for things people have done far more than the normal person. Like the German man who got 217 COVID jabs. We're going to give away $100 worth of unique homestyle foods after the break. Get calling, 8223 0000, and we'll also go around the courts with Sean Fuster.
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
The first real increase of public housing in a generation is underway, with the government putting out a call for builders. Tenders for 167 public homes to be built across the state, worth between $50 and $60 million, have been released. Human Services Minister Nat Cook says the SA Housing Authority is building more than 1,000 new homes over 4 years.
We have put out one of the biggest tenders ever for public homes, at 167 to be built over the next year or so, and the value of that tender is between $50 and $60 million. So we certainly are calling out for local builders who'd like to join our team to help us complete this huge project pipeline that we're delivering right across South Australia.
Sam Kerr's future as captain of the Matildas is on the line, facing criminal charges over the alleged racial harassment of a police officer in London. Her legal team is seeking to have the case dismissed, arguing prosecutors have taken too long to lay charges. Former Socceroo Craig Foster has told Today, Football Australia will need to consider stripping Kerr of the captaincy.
I think the game should definitely consider it. This is a live issue right now. You know, we're talking about racism, which is really serious. You know, players have repeatedly been stood down. But yes, the game has to wrestle with right now what is the appropriate way to deal with what is a really difficult situation.
A man who robbed a city store and assaulted staff will front court today. Police allege a man entered a shop on Franklin Street last night, stole goods before 2 staff members who attempted to stop the man from stealing were assaulted. The 46-year-old was then reported throwing stones at passing cars. He's facing a string of charges, including assault and disorderly behaviour. Quarantine zones have been set up in the northern suburbs following a fruit fly outbreak at Salisbury North. Queensland fruit fly has been confirmed in the area. Purse's Nick Seckham says a letterbox drop will be followed up by face-to-face visits.
And then our staff will be knocking on people's doors to let them know that there's a fruit fly outbreak in the area and what they need to do. Our teams will be applying fruit fly bait to the area every week, in some cases twice a week, to make sure we can attract the fruit fly to that bait and eradicate it quickly.
A drink driver's been caught at Hectorville overnight. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the woman was pulled over on Glenburn Road.
Licence checks revealed the driver, a 29-year-old woman from Paralowie, held a learner's permit, but no L plates were displayed on the vehicle, and she underwent a roadside breath test, but then refused a further breath analysis test back at the station. So she was reported for refusing a breath test. Her car was impounded for 28 days, and she received a 12-month immediate loss of licence.
5 car companies are being called out by the Climate Council for their effect on the environment. Research shows brands like Toyota, Ford, Hyundai are producing more climate pollution than some of Australia's biggest coal mines. Head of Advocacy, Dr. Jennifer Rayner, says they're getting off scot-free because pollution isn't being regulated.
Air pollution kills more people in a year than road accidents in Australia. So it's a silent killer, and we really need to clean up our fleet and clean up the cars we're selling in Australia to cut the harm.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $2,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Triton.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. St Kilda veteran Jimmy Webster is making no excuses for his high bump on North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin and accepts the 7-game ban from the AFL Tribunal.
This is something we really want to stamp out of our game. So yeah, I'm going to miss a fair chunk of footy this year. So 7 weeks on the sideline, and rightfully so. Something I'm not proud of, and yeah, just hope Giles doing okay.
It's the longest suspension in the AFL since 2018, when West Coast midfielder Andrew Gaff was banned for 8 weeks over a jaw-breaking punch on Fremantle's Andrew Brayshaw. Well, meantime, the Sydney Swans will be without 3 experienced midfielders in tomorrow night's AFL season opener against Melbourne. But coach John Longmire remains bullish on their chances against the D's at the SCG.
I feel like we've still got a good quality of players to go through that midfield group. They'll be young, but we're really confident in that midfield group. They'll have a big challenge this week against the Demons and their experience, but they've had a good pre-season, all of our mids, and so we're really looking forward to the challenge.
To soccer, and Bayern Munich have taken control of their knockout tie against Lazio in the European Champions League. Trailing 1-0 after the first leg, scores were locked at 0-0 in this second leg. That's until England captain Harry Kane struck close to half-time.
Muller backpedals. That was Guerrero. There is Kane! Bayern lead on the night. Bayern level in the tie.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport, and the home side struck again just minutes later and now lead 2-0 at half-time, putting them 2-1 up in the overall tie. In this morning's other match, Paris Saint-Germain is 1-0 up against Real Sociedad. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery bonus prize deadline is midnight Friday. homelottery.com.au.
Morning there, a couple of breakdowns to look out for today. You'll find one at Croydon South Road near Regency Road causing delays. Another one at Regency Park. This one's also on South Road near Tominga Street. Works at Beulah Park today, Port Rice Road near McGill Road, speeds at 25. And we've got cameras today, Gate Street Phil and Harris Road at Vale Park. The King Living Anniversary Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Sale ends soon. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny today, 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 33. Friday, sunny, 36. Saturday, sunny, 39. Right now, it's 21. More news as it happens on 5AA.
What's on your bucket list? Skydiving? Swimming with dolphins? Hot air ballooning? Before you plan a bucket list, plan your will with Donlan Lawyers. A will, power of attorney and advanced care directive speak for you when you can't. It means you and your loved ones will be taken care of. Visit donlanlawyers.com. Put it on your bucket list. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
With help from Fleurieu Milk Company, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced reusable 18-litre kegs. Over recent months, a phenomenal amount of single-use plastic bottles have been eliminated, and every day the tally grows. Fleurieu Milk Company, together with cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, expect to save our planet from millions of single-use plastic bottles. Visit fleurieumilkco.com.au for more.
The Royal Flying Doctor Service cannot do its life-saving work without your help. It relies on your donations to transform a plane into a flying intensive care unit that flies at least to 15 South Australians every day.
And now your donations can have an even bigger impact. March the 7th is officially Double Up for the Doc Day, and that means every donation made on our online donation page will be matched by our dollar matching partners.
And of course, you can donate at any time, but if you donate on March 7, which is tomorrow, your donation will be matched thanks to some very generous partners.
So the target to reach on Double Up for the Doc Day is $300,000 to fit out a new aircraft with medical equipment. And with your help on March 7, it's totally doable.
Put it in your diary, Double Up for the Doc Day, March 7. For more information, visit flyingdoctor.com.au, flyingdoctor.com.au.
We're for the adventures. Because every getaway, you secure the bike to the tow bar, pack the boot like a game of Tetris, and listen to the kids ask, "Are we there yet?" for the 100th time. You support quality family time, and we support you. Wayville and Southern Mitsubishi. Right now, you're good to go adventuring with a $2,000 fuel card on all 2023 build Triton and Pajero Sport models. Wayville and Southern Mitsubishi, driven by Australian Motors. Family time runs in our blood too. T's and C's apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 to 8, the Lancet Infectious Diseases Journal released a pretty interesting article in the last couple of days detailing the exploits of a 62-year-old German man who, against medical advice, has been vaccinated 217 times against COVID. We're asking you this morning, what have you done? Far, far, far more than the average person. Let's go to Glenelg North. Guy, good morning.
Lads, this one's probably a little bit weird. My wife and I go back to the church we were married in every year on our anniversary and repeat our vows.
Oh, that's awesome. So how many years are you up to, Guy?
20 this year.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Can I ask you, Guy, which church is it?
St Lawrence's in North Adelaide.
Oh,
now,
beautiful.
it sounds really good, except of recent times the kids have come along and we take a photo every year. We have not got a decent photo in 20 years. One of our sons is either flipping the bird as the photo takes,
pulling a face,
putting his hand in the shape of a gun to his head. It is a complete disaster. But it sounds good.
What do you do with the photos? Do you just keep them on your phone or your laptop, or you
Just keep
actually
on the phone.
you don't put them up on the wall?
Yeah, we have none that we can print.
Oh, that's terrific.
That's
mate.
a great
I
call,
love that.
Guy. You're a strong contender for the $100 Unique Home Styles food voucher. What have you done far, far, far more times than the average person?
I like Quentin's. He says, guys, the thing I've done many, many more times than any normal person on the face of the earth is watch the Gold Coast Suns lose.
Yes.
But not this year.
Quentin's the only person that watches every Gold Coast Suns game, I'm convinced.
Yeah, he's a massive fan.
Yeah. All right, we'll take some more. We'll get
Love
some
to
more
know how
calls.
that happened one day.
Yeah, I think you should explain it to us. We'll get to some more of your calls in just a moment, and indeed your Dutton's text. But first, let's go around the courts.
It's time to go around the courts with Sean Fuster on 5AA Breakfast.
Sean's on the phone today because he's literally going to court to cover what will be probably the biggest court story in quite a while. Sean Fuster, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, guys. It's another day where I'm not trying to get the $100 voucher, but I'm doing what people don't do and going to the courts and hoping for a good outcome.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed there. So, Sean...
So, today's the day.
Absolutely. So, Mark Hayden, obviously the state government has brought in this special legislation. It's not guaranteed that it's going to have any of the desired effect of stopping Mark Hayden's release under parole-like conditions, though, is it?
Well, the simple fact of the matter is the new legislation doesn't actually matter in this application today. You can't make an application to the Supreme Court under the new legislation yet. The government's still making it under the old legislation.
Right.
And the Attorney General's been at pains to point out from the very start that the government is convinced they have an arguable case under the existing legislation. They're claiming that even though Hayden is not charged with an offence of violence or an offence of sexual violence, he can still be considered a high-risk offender. So it's interesting because they're going to run that case no matter what. Now, Hayden's listed amongst a whole group of people this morning who are listed to actually be considered for high-risk offender orders. My question, and the thing that I'm most interested in, guys, is whether Hayden will be there in person. And if he is, whether he comes in and out through the front door or whether he comes in and out through the cell doors, because, of course, he's now on parole.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So they're going to work through a whole bunch of these similar sorts of cases all at once, are they?
That's a good question, Will, and my answer is I don't know. I don't know whether this is going to be a bit of a cattle call list where they figure out what day everything's going to be argued on, or whether they're actually going to hear arguments straight away for some of them, because, of course, the Hayden matter is time-sensitive. We've only got until May.
Does he have his own legal representation, Sean, and if so, who pays for it?
Yeah, my understanding is that they can have their own, applicants in general, can have their own legal representation if they want to, and indeed most do. Because as you can imagine, many of these people, many of these offenders have finished their sentences. They are looking forward to going back into the community, to living their lives normally, to making a new start and enjoying their second opportunity at a law-abiding life. The last thing they want is to have the government saying, no, you need to be on parole longer than the average person. And usually that would be either personally funded or it would be legally aided funded if the Legal Services Commission agreed that the case that the offender wanted to put was arguable.
How do these applications work, Sean? As far as observing it as a day in court, is it like starting a whole new trial?
Yeah, it's a mini trial, basically. It's a shorter mini trial. They normally go for no more than 1 to 2 days. Evidence will be called in terms of people that saw you in prison and what they thought you were like, medical experts, psychological and psychiatric reports, almost kind of the sentencing submissions part of the trial rather than the trial proper, because it's all about the outcome. It's all about determining whether or not you do pose a continued risk to the community, and if so, what sort of conditions should be put upon you in order to mitigate that risk. So it's the yes or no answer of whether you are at risk, and then it's the, okay, if the answer is yes, how much control do you have to be under? Do you need more or less? Because everybody's an individual.
Every single person I've spoken to following this, Sean, and then, you know, people in the legal community, and an academic, Alan Perry from the Adelaide Uni Law School, now retired, who I spoke to a couple of weeks ago, no one is saying to me they think that the state government's legislation is going to change this. They think Hayden's going to be set free because he's done his time, and they can't see it having any effect at all. Is that your assessment too?
Absolutely. I agree with the people you've spoken to 100%. And the other thing that I've noted through comments to Daniel and I for Just Lawful is the number of people out there who are saying, he's done his time, he's done his complete sentence, isn't this what the system is all about? Why are we living in a time where the government gets to have a second go at imprisoning people? If you think of the actual victims in this matter, the Victims' Rights Commissioner has said the victims themselves are divided on this. Some of the family members of people who were killed in the Bodies in the Barrels killings don't want Hayden subjected to any more control. Some do. So if the people who are most affected are divided, then it's not surprising that the community is divided. And if we're working on the old legislation, then it's not surprising that academia is saying this really isn't going to fly.
Mm. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how it pans out. Great analysis as always, Sean.
Hey, before we let you go, Sean, you just wanted a shout out for the West Adelaide Footy Club.
Yeah, look, guys, as much as I joke about there's nothing new under the sun, something new did happen the other day. I wrote a story about a case involving allegations of sexual abuse at private school St Ignatius College many years ago, and that lawsuit has settled out of court with no finding. But one of the assertions made in the lawsuit was that the man involved in the alleged abuse, Stephen Hammer, who is himself a convicted sex offender, may have had access to young men who came down from the country and rural areas to play for West Adelaide Football Club in the 70s and 80s because he was the billeter. He was entrusted with doing that. Now, the club had no idea that this was even an allegation, no knowledge of it. When I rang the club, I got put through directly to Connie Wilson, the CEO, who straight away committed to the club going out and finding all of its former players, speaking to them, counselling them, making sure that they were okay, or assisting them if they weren't. I'm so used to organisations running from these allegations, hiding from these allegations, doing everything in their power not to acknowledge these allegations, that Ms Wilson's response and the response of the club, I think, is absolutely humane and commendable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, good shout out. Good on you, Sean. Thank you. Sean Fuster, Chief Court Reporter from the Advertiser and host of the excellent Just Lawful program on Sunday as well.
She's the mum of Patrick Wilson, the former Sturt player, who's now gone back to Westies.
Is that right?
She's a really impressive woman, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
12 to 8, we're giving away a $100 unique Home Styles food voucher for people who confess to things they've done far more than the average person. We need more information from Rob on the Duttons text line. He says he moved house 72 times since the 1970s. Come on, that can't be right.
They say moving
Rob.
house is like in the top 5 most stressful things.
That
like
can't be right.
Death of a loved one, divorce, moving house. Rob must be a bundle of nerves.
We need more information, Rob. Thank you. Let's go to Dave in South Brighton. Dave, good morning to you.
Morning, guys. Well, something that I did about 40 years ago was I rang up a radio station, probably FIVEAA, and I was a first-time caller. And I've been doing that ever since, as you guys probably are aware. I used to ring you guys. I used to ring Amanda Blair. I used to ring Leon Bynum. You name it, I've rung them.
We love you for it too, Dave.
How many calls do you reckon you've made over the years, Dave?
I don't know, mate. It's hard. Cause let's just say average once a week, right? Sometimes it's more. And I'm going back when I was, about 13, ringing up 5AD, pick your favourite song. So, do the maths. It would be hundreds of times.
Well, if it's 10 a week, So round it down 50 weeks a year, that's 500 a decade, 20 years, 1,000 calls, at least 1,000 calls from Dave would say.
We might move to Seaview Downs. Barbara's on the line. Morning to you, Barbara.
Good morning, boys. I've given 400 donations to the blood bank over the years.
Oh, really? 400?
That's right. It's included plasma and whole blood. And I went last week for the 400th time.
Do they give you some sort of certificate or something for time 400, Barbara?
Oh, yes. I got a few little goodies, including a key ring which says A+, which is my blood group.
That is awesome, Barbara. And it's such an important thing. I mean, so many people today would be having operations where they need blood transfusions and so forth. But what got you into it in the first place? What was the thing that motivated you?
Well, I am a former nurse, so I knew that blood was pretty important in my work life. And I thought I could do something for the community. I don't do a lot of other volunteering, but that I thought I could do
well, you
without
don't need to
any
doing that.
problem.
Absolutely. Do they still give you a glass of stout, or is that an urban myth?
It's an urban myth. I don't ever remember having a glass of stout, but there's always tea, coffee, other refreshments, a few bits and pieces that you can partake when you're finished.
Does it take long?
No, as I say, I just used to go with the plasma every fortnight for a number of years, and I've reverted back to whole blood in my older age.
Oh, good on you.
So, Barbara, did they give you any indication? How rare is someone giving blood 400 times? Did they remark about it when you hit the record?
Oh yes, I've got a few pictures of me holding up a sign that says 400 in a big form of a cardboard drop of blood.
Wow.
And I've as I say, I thought that that's something I could do to help the community in perhaps a different way from other people.
Is there like a waiting period when you've donated blood? Do you have to wait 2 weeks, 4 weeks before you can do it again?
It varies. You can go every fortnight for plasma, but it's about 12 weeks for whole blood.
Wow. You ever get woozy? Do you ever get dizzy?
No, never.
I tell you what.
Maybe that's why I kept going.
That's good.
To keep your blood production up, Barbara, we're going to give you the $100 Unique Home Styles food voucher. Get Unique pies, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket. Unique, it's time for something better. That is a remarkable record.
400 times.
She's donated 400 times, which is nearly twice as many times as that bloke from Germany got vaccinated against COVID.
That's a much better obsession to have.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. A much healthier one.
Old Klaus should talk to Barbara.
Let's check traffic. We do say thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. A few breakdowns to look out for this morning. One at Croydon Park, South Road near Regency Road. Another one at Regency Park, South Road near Tominga Street. Another breakdown at Crapers West. It's on the freeway inbound near the Measles ramp. The RAA will be very busy this morning. Works at Coromandel Valley continuing. Main Road near Black Road. And we've got cameras this morning. Mount Barker Road, Totnes, and the Parade at McGill. Setting up your four-wheel drive. Petter's four-wheel drive products offer a total brakes and suspension solution, complete with nationwide warranty. Petter's, the four-wheel drive undercar experts. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You deserve a new car. And you definitely deserve a holiday. You could win a Mercedes and a luxury getaway to the Maldives. But you've got just 2 days until the bonus deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Plus, your tickets stay in the draw for the $3.6 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize at Henley Beach. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. HomeLottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
Before you do a thesis in dishwasher, depart on an oven odyssey, or make a pilgrimage up Mount Washing Machine. Just trying to work out what appliances to get? Drop into Adelaide Appliance Gallery. We're here to make your life easier. We've got the best advice, best appliances, and the best offers on Smeg. Choose from Smeg's linear range of ovens and save up to $1,200 during the clearance sale. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Now, Samtas Seafood invite you to savour the finest seafood at unbeatable price. I have this pathological sort of response where if it's a long weekend, I just feel physically drawn towards Richmond Road, particularly when it's warm, because you think, how good would it be Sunday to have a big seafood lunch? Anyway, get in there. This week, their lowest king prawn prices in years, this is not a typo. Indulge in raw king prawns from Spencer Gulf, starting at just $13.99 a kilo.
Experience freshness with local Mulloway fillets at $29.99 a kilo. King George whiting fillets at $59.99 a kilo. And delectable cooked blueies for $23.99 a kilo.
And dive into the famous deal. You'll know the drill. 4 kilos of snap frozen seafood favourites for just $60. Mix and match your choices. An amazing offer.
Treat your family to some premium seafood, flathead, dory, emperor, barramundi, Atlantic salmon and more, all in the 4 kilo deal, still just $60.
Choose from salt and pepper squid, crumb gar, our irresistible crispy tempura battered NZ whiting fillets, all included in the $60 deal. At Samtest Seafoods, we are your king prawn, fresh fish, seafood and freshly opened oyster specialists.
It's factory direct with on-site free parking and open 7 days. Samtest Seafoods, where value meets quality. 201 Richmond Road, Richmond.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Thinking about a solar battery? Don't wait. Connect with NRG Solar and bring home a solar battery with a rock-solid 10-year warranty. Use the energy you generate during the day. Store some for later, reducing reliance on energy providers and putting money back in your pocket. See NRG Solar in their new premises at St Mary's. Bigger place, better space, some amazing people. Visit NRG Solar now at 1275 South Road or call 1300 858 160.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast. Give us the tea, Adelaide.
If you're building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. What are they playing for, David?
They are playing for this red-hot mixer made by the excellent people at Smeg. I'm going to the Smeg place today to go to the Smeg oven training class.
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm super excited about that. One of those pyrolytic ovens I'm getting where you can push the thermonuclear button and it zaps all the
I didn't know this
grease
was
and grime.
a feature.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
So it's got a pizza function apparently where you can do a pizza in like 2 minutes.
That sounds fun.
Very exciting. Anyway, they don't make anything bad, Smeg. All good quality gear.
Yep, functional and fashionable. 8223 is the number. We just need a rumour from you between now and 9 o'clock. You can have a completely made-up name by Sam and Lucy. You'll be remain totally anonymous throughout the entire process. If your identity is sensitive or you don't necessarily want to be associated and don't want to get anyone into trouble, we appreciate all those sorts of sensitivities. All you need to do is call us on 8223 big or small. We don't discern rumour-wise. It could be something about your local area, your local street, or look, frankly, it could be about the federal government, whatever it might well be. Get calling, and we'll award the Smeg blender by 9 o'clock this morning.
Rob the Punmeister in Clearview says that bloke in Germany who had all the COVID shots, he should have just stopped at 9.
Let's head to the airport. Jade Roprin is reporting there for us this morning. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. A busy morning down here. First time I've actually been to the airport and there's no flight cancellations or delays. It's a good day.
Yeah,
if you're listening and dreaming of a holiday and you're like me and refuse to book anything right now because flights are so damn expensive, well, relief could be on the way. A price war is around the corner after Emirates announced that they're starting up here again. Now, as you guys know, they'll be starting to fly in and out of Adelaide from October. They'll start up daily flights with connections through to Dubai and connections and destinations including the UK, Europe, India and the east coast of the US. Now, I did a search of flights out of Adelaide to London. Now, Heathrow Airport from November 6 to 13. Emirates, you can get a flight for $1,130. Singapore Airlines, $2,156. I'd be skipping Air New Zealand right now. They're charging $3,636. Qatar, they're the cheapest, $1,029. So very big, differentiation between the airlines right now. But great news with, experts in the trade are saying that we could see around a 10% price war between the airlines, which is great news. But we've not seen prices below that $1,200 mark to Europe since pre-pandemic, and with demand to travel at an all-time high. In fact, international passenger numbers out of Adelaide are tracking at 109% higher than pre-COVID levels. So this is huge. And also on the topic of the airport, how would you go flying direct to LA, Tokyo or New Delhi? The airport recently announced its Network Vision 2050 and found that there's 39 global cities where Adelaide Airport believes that non-stop flights could be introduced by the year 2050. They say that's what passengers want. I reckon I'd go barking mad sitting on a flight non-stop for up to 15 hours. No thanks. But Brenton Cox, the CEO, also announced that they're going to try wooing back Cathay Pacific and also China Southern. They stopped their direct flights to Hong Kong and Guangzhou during when COVID hit. But we've got 10 airlines now flying internationally from Adelaide, which is absolutely sensational. But hello, Qantas, where are you?
Totally.
Yeah. Conspicuous by their absence in that
Haven't you ever done a really long flight like a Sydney-Dallas one, Jade? Because that's 7
I
8
haven't.
hours.
The furthest I've gone is Hawaii, which I think's around the 9-10 hour mark. That's enough for me. I need to get out, stretch my legs and burn the credit card at duty free.
Good on you, Jade. 5AA News time. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Keep your body in shape with Physio Extra Clinical Pilates and group exercise classes. PhysioExtra.com.
Questions have been raised around the secrecy surrounding Matildas captain Sam Kerr's harassment charge after bosses at Football Australia were left in the dark. Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey.
Here at Stamford Bridge, the home of Chelsea FC, there's still nothing coming from the club more than 24 hours since this story broke. There's nothing from Sam Kerr either via statement or on her social media accounts at this stage. There is an interesting development perhaps regarding court. We know she's got to wait until next February for that trial, for which she's already pleaded not guilty to the charge, but there is an April court date listed where it's understood lawyers for her will be arguing abuse of process. We know a big issue in Australia is the fact that football bosses were caught blindsided by this. They claim they had no idea that this was coming, and we'll have to wait and see if there are any repercussions for Sam Kerr regarding that. Same too for her club Chelsea FC, where she's been a star since 2019.
The Liberals will introduce new legislation today to ban how-to-vote cards outside polling booths. Voters have to run the gauntlet on their way to vote, which many find annoying and intimidating. The bill would also ban the distribution of how-to-vote cards within 100 metres of a polling place, including car parks. It follows a ban on call flutes prohibiting the use of posters along public roads. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp and Threads users have been locked out of their accounts for over an hour. Parent company Meta experienced a worldwide outage around 2 o'clock this morning. Professor of Digital Social Media at University of Southern California, Karen North, says it doesn't look like a major breach.
It does not look like a hack. This looks like a standard outage that we have usually. Honestly, usually it's when they update things, just like when we update things and we then have to reboot our computers or our cell phones.
The federal government says Paul Keating is entitled to his views after the former Prime Minister made a blistering criticism of Labor's foreign policy. Mr Keating argues Australia should consider closer ties with Beijing, accusing the government of using anti-China rhetoric. But Labor is dismissing the critique, arguing it's focused on peace and stability in the region. Americans in 15 states are heading to the polls for Super Tuesday. It's the biggest day of the 2024 presidential election, the vote to determine the two major parties' presidential candidates. Former Director of Administration for Vice President Biden, Mo Vela, says the results are unlikely to be surprising.
In a normal election cycle, the Super Tuesday would be dramatic, right? Because you'd have probably 6, 7 candidates truly that have a chance. We know who the two nominees will be. So tonight is just, frankly, is a formality. But, it's beautiful for people to go and exercise their right to vote.
South Australian duo Electric Fields have been named as Australia's entry in this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Zachariah Fielding and Michael Ross will perform their newest dance anthem, One Makala, which loosely translates to One Blood and represents their dream for a world where we are all united. Eurovision will be held in Sweden in May. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $1,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Outlander.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. The AFL captains have had their say on what they think will happen this season. They were asked what sides other than their own would make finals, and every one of them predicted Collingwood. All but one captain believes Brisbane will be playing in September, while 15 believe Carlton and GWS will make it. 10 skippers think Adelaide will make the top 8 for the first time since 2017, but only 7 think the Power will be there. 3 sides didn't get a single vote to make it. They are North Melbourne, Hawthorn and West Coast. One of the skippers surveyed, Toby Green, says after getting so close to making the grand final last season, he believes they're really motivated and full of belief they can go even further in 2024.
I didn't probably expect us to be within 1 point of a grand final. I thought we could definitely compete most weeks, and this year, we want to go out and win the comp, and that's our expectation, that's our goal.
And the teams for the season opener will be released tonight. That match will be played between Sydney and Melbourne tomorrow night at the SCG. And St Kilda's Jimmy Webster has been slapped with a 7-game ban for a head-high bump on North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin. Let's go to other sport. The Sydney Kings will announce their new coach this morning, replacing the sacked Mahmoud Abdel Fattah. It's expected to be Boomers coach Brian Goorjian. Meantime, Aussie star Paddy Mills is reportedly in talks to join the Miami Heat after being waived by Atlanta. And 2-time Grand Slam champion Simona Halep has had her doping ban slashed from 4 years to 9 months. The Court of Arbitration for Sport found Halep was not entirely at fault for the positive test, recorded a year and a half ago. She's been cleared to return to tennis immediately. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery bonus prize deadline is midnight Friday. homelottery.com.au.
A couple of breakdowns to look out for today. One at Croydon Park, South Road near Regency Road. Got another one too this morning at Crafers West. This one's on the freeway near the Mises ramp heading inbound. Got a few delays there, but nothing too drastic. Works at Dry Creek happening north south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. And look out for cameras this morning. Harris Road, Vale Park and McGill Road at McGill. Win over $999 million in today's USA Mega Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closes in just a few hours. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny today, 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 33. 36 and sunny on Friday. Saturday, sunny, 39. Right now, it's 21. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Specsaver's advanced hearing aid technology helps cut through the background noise, available in almost 300 stores, along with experienced audiology professionals like Catherine Launchberry.
Hi, Matthew. Yes, our hearing aids can also stream music, movies, even answer the phone. We've got latest tech hearing aids to suit your lifestyle, all at everyday low prices.
And how do we know which one's are right, Catherine?
Well, hearing aids come in various shapes and sizes, and the cost is determined by the level of technology used. Specsaver's audiology professionals are always here to help, with 12 months aftercare at no extra cost and a 90-day no-fuss returns policy. Plus, those eligible for the Government Hearing Services program can access hearing aids with no out-of-pocket expense. We encourage customers to shop around and compare with our upfront prices.
Sounds great. Thanks, Catherine. Head in store or visit specsavers.com.au/hearing. Always follow directions for use. Conditions apply under the Australian Government Hearing Services program.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Keezer. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing. But this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise, and the best place to exercise is Keezer. Keezer's physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Keezer, and you can too, at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at keezer.com.au.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriupa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
It's an overcast start to this Wednesday morning. Just having a look at the Eye on the Sky on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. A little bit of sun peeking over the hills, but otherwise it's cloudy.
No rain though.
No rain.
High cloud.
39 days in a row now.
High disorganised cloud. Cloud, you had one job, you couldn't even do that.
No, well...
no rain.
I'll tell you what, the sun's doing its job all this week. 34, 33, 36, 39, 36, 36 and 32. They're not the Powerball numbers. That's the weather that's coming up over the course of the next 7 days. Coming up over the course of the next 20-odd minutes on the program, we're going to be chatting with David Koch. Koshy is really interested in talking about what is front page of the Oz this morning, the dramatic increase in private health premiums in Australia. We got a text about this earlier. It is absolutely ludicrous.
3%. They've gone up 10% in the last decade.
And does anyone feel like they're getting value for money? No. I've had to claim recently on a few things, and you go, hang on, what?
Sorry, 45 in the last 10 years, they've gone up 45%. 45. That is like double the rate of inflation. You know, that story in the Oz, tucked away, there's a line there saying that the way it's going, they're going to have to introduce waiting lists at private hospitals. Because the money's not flowing back to the private hospital system.
Well, we've got a pretty dramatic example of that, haven't we, with the Western Hospital?
Correct.
That's what it looks like.
It's a total rort.
Yeah, there's something broken in that system. We'll talk to Koshy about it very, very shortly. Also, plenty of time for your calls, including your SMEG rumours. If you're building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the SMEG showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with SMEG. I think we've got one coming up in just a moment on 8223 0000. But, of course, we'll continue having the SMEG rumour file line open until 9 o'clock. It's time for breaking at 8.
Well, the Crows had their AGM last night, and the chairman, John Olsen, said he was confident that by July the sod would be turned on the first part of the Theberton project, which has been dragging on for years now. Well, how's this? We've received flyers that have been distributed in the local area over the past 24 hours by the 5031 Action Group, which is leading the charge against the development, and obviously people have got every right to complain about what's happening in their area. The manner in which they're doing it is interesting. So they're holding another public meeting on Wednesday, March 13 at 7 p.m. Happy to give them a free plug there. But as part of this, they're also running what could be described validly as complaint writing classes for people in the community who have qualms about the project going ahead. Now, they're holding not one, not two, but 3 of these sessions. One of them is over Zoom. One's at a local community hall and the other's at the Wheatie, the Wheat Sheaf Hotel, great pub there, just off George Street. the flyer says this: need some help to get started? We'll be hosting free submission writing sessions. Bring your laptop down and we can help. No laptop? Well, handwritten submissions are fine too. Now, the whole idea, and cynics will look at this and probably, I think, rightly describe it as a NIMBY-driven stacking exercise. The idea is that all of these submissions that this organisation is now actively soliciting and enabling through these classes are going to be sent to the State Planning Commission, which is called for public submissions up until Thursday, 21 March. The idea being to maximise the perception that a vast number of people in the area are up in arms about this development, when, as the resident who contacted us said, they're completely relaxed about it and can't see what the fuss is all about.
I can't believe this story. This is legit. So there's complaint writing masterclass.
Need some help to get started? We'll be hosting free submission writing sessions, like, dear sir, insert name here, dear State Planning Commission, my name of Wayne House Street. I am, and the other thing is they've got this checklist with a big typo on it. It says, finally, with one L, a genuine opportunity to influence the Crow's development. And then it says, tell them how you will be affected by the following: traffic in local streets. Well, yeah, fair enough. That's going to be an issue. Car parking, yeah. Then it gets alarmist. Licensed venue.
Oh, God.
Now, there's a lot of licensed venues in Torrensville and Theberton. Like, there's the West Theberton Hotel.
Oh, yeah, but
most of the restaurants around there, apart from the halal ones like the excellent Saray and what have you, most of the restaurants have got licences too. The one that I really like: how will you be affected by antisocial behaviour? Now, I'm trying to recall the great apricot slice riots of 2006, or the time that some of the Foundation Crows members were caught throttling each other with their crocheted red, blue, and yellow knee rugs. Like, is the Adelaide Football Club a club that has a history of antisocial behaviour? We're not talking about Millwall here.
Yeah, but the other thing is, do these people ever understand how a football club works or football works? No one turns up at the club, and it's not Adelaide Oval.
No,
it's not clashing fans who have been drinking for 2.5 hours. This is the club. This is where the team practices.
There's not going to be 50,000 people walking their way home from having watched training. But no, I think the fact that they say things like antisocial behaviour shows that most of them probably never been to a football game in their life.
No, I think they're right. Well, let's hear from some
We
listeners.
don't want all these Crows fans drunkenly walking past our houses, leaving empty bottles of Shaw and Smith's M3 Chardonnay in the driveway. That is good Chardonnay, by the way.
8223. Yeah, it is good. 8223 is the number. Let's hear from some local residents. Have you got this how to complain to local government starter pack in your mail? Have you seen it around the place? What's your reaction to the headquarters that the first sod will likely be turned sooner rather than later? We'd love to hear from you.
It's even got a QR code on it. Follow the links to see the plans and submit your feedback. www.savekingsreserve.com. They're organised. They've got a bit of dough behind them as well.
They're not installing an oil derrick there, are they?
Well, who knows?
You think this is the thin edge of the wedge?
Yeah. This is just the start, Will. Who knows what's going to happen?
Turbocharged
I can understand
NIMBYism.
people in the immediate vicinity saying, what's this going to mean for traffic?
Yes, that's fine, of course.
But the thing is, they're replacing a crappy old oval with a really good new one that the public's going to have access to, as opposed to the one that's been chained up for the last 40 years.
Let's get to some SMEG rumours. 8223 Lucy tells me the SMEG code names today are all East European countries. Let's go to Latvia. Good morning to you, Latvia.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
Very well,
Good,
thank you.
Latvia.
Good. Got a rumour for you. You know about the Maya Centre. There's a bit of a sort of a no-man's show in there, isn't there?
Where was that, sorry?
The Maya Centre?
The Maya Centre, yeah.
Yep. Well, a lot of those little shops, they might be closing down because I believe the rent's going up, and a lot of them are saying, you know what, this is all too hard. We're just going to pack up and close up. There's not many shops in that Maya Centre. If you go for a walk around, there's hardly anything. Well, it's going to be like a ghost town soon.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Rent squeeze.
Mass exodus from the Maya Centre in Adelaide, where they've just done up the facade.
They have.
Spent a little bit of money I don't think they want it standing empty in there. That's a good rumour. Thank you, FIVEAA. Keep them coming through. 8223 0000. We've got that excellent Smeg appliance to give away by 9 o'clock this morning. Should we look at some texts?
Got a lot of texts here. Fellas, there should be a pro-development session to send to the Commissioner as well. Well, that would seem only fair if you like it. Is there a link you can follow? Is there a QR code if you're someone who says, I don't actually care about this?
If you like it, can you go along to the letter writing session, or will they school you up on how to write a positive letter about the Thebarton development?
Correct. Kim makes a good point that the Thebarton Oval's been licensed for more than 79 years. Mick, that's funny, but I'm not going to read it out. Sorry, it's a bit over the top, mate, but I have a private guffaw at it. Ben from Happy Valley says, if we had any politicians in SA Parliament who were Crow supporters, then the development would have already started. Now, look, one of the biggest and most important backers of this has been total Port diehard Tom Cootes and Toners. He's been really good on this as the local member.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very strongly in favour of it.
Kim in Torrensville's just sent us a picture of King's Reserve right now. King's Reserve right now. How many people do you reckon are in there?
None.
0.0. It's time to check traffic. Thanks to Keezer. Are you tired of back pain? We'll try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. A couple of breakdowns to look out for on the driving today. You'll find one at Croydon Park, South Road near Regency Road. Another one at Crayfords West, freeway inbound near the Meesdays ramp. Bit sluggish for works at Ottawa at the moment, Grange Junction near Rose Street, and slow right now at Jeps Cross, Port Wakefield Road near Matthews Road. Cameras, Gate Street, Firle and Harris Road at Vale Park. Need new tyres? Get 30% off all Kumu tyres at My Car. Hurry, ends on the 10th of March. Purchase online, over the phone or in-store at My Car today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Jimmy Webster has had a little brain fade and just launched himself, taken Joyce Simpkin out.
Well, he's a Tasmanian and they enter the comp in 2027. Some are saying that's when he'll return. No, but that's a joke.
I'll give you that one, I don't mind.
No, but it's a joke.
The 5AA Sports Show.
It's not one that I think we want to see a lot of this year.
No.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place, one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift.
Right now, Toyota Material Handling is having a massive clear-out of 2023 plated forklifts. Score a great deal across a selected range of new Toyota forklifts currently in stock. Counterbalance and reach forklifts, walkie stackers and more. So if it's 2023 plated, get a great Toyota forklift deal. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
T's and C's apply. Offer ends March 31st.
Now, home maintenance can be exhausting. You need to know a plumber, electrician, handyman and renovator, or we went in and met these guys last week. It was fantastic. You could swap all of those numbers for just one, Precise Plumbing and Electrical.
And the nice thing is there's a place you go to and you see their trucks and you see the good people that work there and the work they do. They're not just a fridge magnet where you call them and they start ringing around to local handymen. These people work for Precise Plumbing and Electrical. They're all accountable and they do a wonderful job, from plumbing and electrical work to pipe relining, bathroom renos, handyman services. They're just your one-stop solution, and they've got 25 years worth of happy customers.
And look, they've got the city covered. They'll service all areas of Adelaide and be there on time, every time, with an expert in your field of need, ready to do top-notch work. In fact, they're so confident in their expertise that their workmanship comes with this. How's this? A lifetime warranty.
Good group of people too, aren't they?
Yeah, love it.
Good attitude to the work, and they love what they do. With free quotes and upfront fixed pricing, Precise Plumbing and Electrical is a name you can trust, and, frankly, it's the only name you need to remember. Visit preciseservices.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future. To build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road, St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 after 8. We had a whole stack of texts on the Duttons text line to start the morning. People were reacting to not just the Aussies reporting, but general reporting on the increase to private health insurance premiums and generally the whole value for money conundrum you get when it comes to private health insurance. It's our key topic of conversation with David Collins.
Well, it's really interesting because the private health insurance companies have said, hey, costs of GPs, costs of healthcare have all gone up. We've got to compete. Many of them have just reported bumper profits in profit reporting season about 2 weeks ago. So I can understand people's anger. Couple of things, though. The 3% increase is just the average. Now, there are some that are going to increase their premiums 5-6%. Others are going to increase their premiums 1% and under. So it's important to check your policy. You'll be given notification from your insurer over the next 2 or 3 weeks. You've got till the 1st of April before the increases come through. So it's a great time to just actually see what your health insurance coverage does, whether it's right for you, whether you can get a better deal somewhere else. And this is when the private health insurance companies put out a whole bunch of deals. They have rewards programs. They waive waiting periods. I've seen some that are offering the first 8 to 12 weeks of premiums free, of coverage for free. So it's a big expense for a lot of Australians, 14 million Australians on private health insurance. So it's worth the time to make sure, number one, you've got the right policy that's suited to you, and number two, how that policy stacks up against other providers.
To that point, Dave, like I'm with Bupa, and I'm already paying through the nose for a family of 6, but why do their premiums gone up 3.5%, and they made a whopping profit last year? Why is there such a disparity between the funds, and how can the government sort of sign off on what seems to be such a willy-nilly approach? Yeah,
I know. It's a case-by-case account. It happens every year, but it's a lot of people, I find, don't know what they're covered for as well. Right? For me, I'm an old bugger. I've always had the view I've got to have gold coverage because I'm getting older. What if I get really sick? When in fact, when Lib looked at our coverage about 4 or 5 years ago and put us down to silver, and I bucked against it, and she said, in gold, we have obstetrics and orthodontics. Now, we don't intend to have uni over kids, although we look young for our age. We're past that. But I imagine a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
And it is easy to change, and a lot of people are fearful of changing providers because they think, I'll have to sit through more waiting periods if I change providers. But if you switch to the same level of cover or lower cover with another provider, you don't sit waiting periods. There are no waiting periods for any coverage, so you're covered there. And also, a lot of people go, "Oh, I've got a precondition. If I switch cover, my premium will go up." Just like if you're in a bushfire or a flood zone with your house, you have a higher premium than someone who's not. With private health insurance, you're community rated, not risk rated. So you are rated and your premium is the same as any other healthy person of the same age. So it's different. There are different nuances for private health insurance and a lot of misconceptions that people have, which is costing them money.
Hey, Koshy, we're going to get some GDP data today. What do you think we're going to learn about the state of the Australian economy?
I think it's going to be pretty weak. I think it will stay out of negative. We'll get into sneak into a small positive growth, but and that's mainly because of migration over the last 12 years that we've got and population growth, a lot more customers there, but it's going to show a really weak economy. And I think, anecdotally, you just look at all the pubs and bars and restaurants that are going out of business in Adelaide. It's shocking. It's the same right around the country. We're just stumbling along at the moment, and hopefully the Reserve Bank and the federal government acknowledge this, because the federal government's got a heap of cash that they can be putting back into particular industries to keep them going. They're taking in the highest level of personal income tax as a proportion of the economy on record at the moment.
Yeah, it's terrible. And not just Adelaide. I saw yesterday there was a cafe up in Strath that shut down. Their problem was exacerbated by the fact they had roadworks out the front of their cafe, Hammer and Tong, for the last year.
But
crazy.
That shows you how sensitive those businesses are, that they're on the edge, and anything out of the blue can tip them over the edge.
Yeah, totally, completely. Good stuff, Dave. Great analysis, as always. David Koch, Compare the Market Economic Director, and, of course, the President of the Port Adelaide Football Club.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Sunny and 32 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Sam Kerr's future as captain of the Matildas is on the line, facing criminal charges over the alleged racial harassment of a police officer in London. A legal team is seeking to have the case dismissed, arguing prosecutors have taken too long to lay charges. Former Socceroo Craig Foster is told today Football Australia will need to consider stripping Kerr of the captaincy.
I think the game should definitely consider it. This is a live issue right now. We're talking about racism, which is really serious. Players have repeatedly been stood down, but yes, the game has to wrestle with right now what is the appropriate way to deal with what is a really difficult situation.
The state government is on the lookout for builders, with the first real increase of public housing in a generation about to begin. Tenders for 167 public homes to be built across the state, worth between $50 and $60 million, have been released. Human Services Minister Nat Cook says the SA Housing Authority is building more than 1,000 new homes over 4 years.
We have put out one of the biggest tenders ever for public homes, of 167 to be built over the next year or so, and the value of that tender is between $50 and $60 million. So we certainly are calling out for local builders who'd like to join our team to help us complete this huge project pipeline that we're delivering right across South Australia.
Meantime, the Greens say their new housing plan would save first home buyers hundreds of thousands of dollars. The minor parties want the federal government to build 360,000 new dwellings over the next 5 years. Those properties would then be sold or rented at reduced prices. Greens housing spokesman Max Chandler-Mather says it'll bring down the cost of renting and buying.
The average renter who rents through this scheme will save $5,200 a year on their rent. The average first home buyer will save $260,000 on the price of a home, because this public property developer will cut out the massive profit margins and instead invest that money back into making housing more affordable.
People living in Salisbury North are facing restrictions due to a Queensland fruit fly outbreak.
The Department of Primary Industries declared a red outbreak area yesterday, which means they can't share, sell or move homegrown fruits and vegetables, must keep restricted produce in a sealed bag, container or the fridge. It's expected to remain in place until the end of May. An Australian First research project shows there needs to be a nuanced approach to combat vaping amongst teenagers. New data shows 1 in 4 teens are at risk of picking up the habit. The Behaviour Change Collaborative's Donna Van Buren says different conversations are needed for teens who are addicted and those at risk of experimenting.
We have 3 segments of teenagers who are not vaping at the moment, but they're in very different places when it comes to their curiosity about vaping, their opportunity to vape, and what they think about vaping when it comes to being a good idea or a bad idea.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's Good to Go giveaway is on now. Receive a bonus $2,000 fuel card on 2023 Build Triton.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. St Kilda veteran Jimmy Webster has received the longest AFL suspension since 2018 over his big bump on North Melbourne captain Jai Simpkin. The 30-year-old defender will be sidelined for the Saints for the first 7 games of the season after pleading guilty at the tribunal to rough conduct. Meantime, a survey of AFL captains has Brisbane, Collingwood, GWS and Carlton as the top-rated teams heading into the new season. Marcus Bontempelli is the captain's pick to win the Brownlow, while Charlie Curnow is favoured to take out the Coleman. To soccer, German giants Bayern Munich is safely through to the quarter-finals of the European Champions League following a 3-0 win against Lazio. Trailing 1-0 heading into the second leg, the home side dominated the match. England captain Harry Kane outstanding with a double.
He's going to have a go and Providella save, but it has fallen to the feet of Harry Kane, and Harry Kane doesn't miss from there.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Paris Saint-Germain is also through to the final 8 of the competition. That's after a 2-1 away win against Real Sociedad. And marathon swimmers Moesha Johnson, Kyle Lee and Nicholas Sloman have been announced as part of the Australian Olympic team for Paris. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery bonus prize deadline is midnight Friday. homelottery.com.au.
At Croydon Park, a breakdown on South Road near Regency Road. Crowford's West, a breakdown on the freeway inbound to the Meastays ramp. At Coromandel Valley, works there. Main Road near Black Road, speeds at 40. I've got works at St Mary's today. South Road near Princess Parade. Cameras Harris Road, Vale Park, and Mount Parker Road at Aldgate. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA approved repairs across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny and 32 today. Tomorrow mostly sunny, 33. Friday sunny, 36. Saturday the hot one, sunny, 39. Right now it's 22. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Before you do a thesis in dishwasher, depart on an oven odyssey, or make a pilgrimage up Mount Washing Machine. Just trying to work out what appliances to get? Drop into Adelaide Appliance Gallery. We're here to make your life easier. We've got the best advice, best appliances, and the best offers on SMEG. Save up to 15% with special discounts on fridges, cookers, dishwashers, and more. That's 15% off. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Adelaide.com.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Yes offers a range of money-saving solutions to upgrade your home and downgrade your energy bills. With subsidies on ceiling insulation, air conditioning, hot water services and LED lighting installations, rebates on new appliances and incentives for recycling your old fridges, it's easy to say yes to Yes. Find out more about your energy saving solutions. Go to yess.net.au.
How awesome! Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has plenty of Tiguans and Amaroks in stock. Tiguan Allspace is a 7-seater with plenty of room and plenty of smarts, featuring auto park, adaptive cruise control and lane assist. And the latest generation Amarok has a big 1-ton payload and 3.5-ton towing capacity. But inside, you'll get all the comforts of a luxury vehicle. There's plenty of stock that must go. Hurry in for a deal. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 to 9. How are your water bills looking? We're going to talk water bills in just a moment.
They're looking better now than they might be soon.
Yeah, that's right. And the infrastructure requirements that the Premier admits are going to mean they are going up. We'll be chatting with Will Frogley from the Master Builders Association about that very, very shortly.
We've got some tickets to give away, though, folks. Gluttony. We've got some of the hottest gluttony shows at the Fringe. So call in now, 8223 0055. If you saw the feature show on 9 News last night, you can win tickets for you and 3 friends, plus a $100 food and beverage voucher to Gluttony if you have last night's correct feature show. All thanks to 5AA 9 News and Gluttony in Rymel Park, home of the biggest shows this Fringe. Tickets from gluttony.net.au.
Time for Fuel Watch. Find the cheapest fuel in an instant with the free RAA app. You can download it today and find cheap spots like these. The United Tapley's Hill Road Seaton, $1.79.5. The OTR Main South Road Clovelly Park, $1.76.3. The Mobile North East Road Valley View, $1.77.5. And the cheapest diesel, the OTR South Road at Ridleyton.
Can we put Jody from South Brighton in charge of everything in South Australia? I love this text on the Duttons text line. And some of the miserable sods complaining about everything, be it, new hockey fields for kids in Millswood or, not Millswood, where was that? Hawthorn?
Millswood, around the area.
Yeah. You name it. The list of things that upset people involving people playing sport. Jody writes, guys, I live a few streets away from the Brighton School, which hosts several sporting clubs every weekend. Cars line our streets. We could not care less. We've walked over several times to watch the footy, had a cheap beer and a pie, and enjoyed the free entertainment. We hear the sirens, but who cares? We're so lucky. 5031 have no idea what it brings to a community.
Yeah, great
Excellent text.
Good on you, Jody.
Jody. Absolutely. We've got James from Collinswood on the line. James, good morning. Did you get the code word from 9 News last night?
Hola, Dave and Will.
Hola. Yes, it is a Spanish word, isn't it, James, I think?
It is, and I think the show was Matador Intimo.
Matador Intimo, which is Spanish for the intimate matador. Sounds a little bit saucy, like one of those raunchy Pedro Almodovar films. Well done, James, in Collinswood. You've won tickets to Matador in the Octagon at Gluttony in Rymel Park. You can get tickets from gluttony.net.au, or don't forget to tune in to 9 News tonight for the next feature show.
8223 is our number. You can text us too on the Duttons text line, Big 10 forward. GWM, Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, they are easy to do business with. I think we're going to catch up with Jade Robran, who's out on the road, thanks to Duttons now. Jade, you've been talking to people about their water bills this morning. What have they been saying?
I most certainly have, Will and Dave, good morning. And I opened my water bill last week and could have bowled me over with a feather. It had gone up so much, and I've been cautious this summer about how much water in the garden I've been using. And I hit the streets and people are really, really affected. They're very passionate about this. I spoke to one gentleman who has really had to change his way of living and how much he's spending, so much so that he actually has sold an investment property because he just simply can't afford to pay for just the basics in life. And the state government says SA water prices will rise by 4.8% in $1.24. Now, that is below the inflation rate of 7.9%, but it does mean that the average metro household will pay an extra $53, while businesses will pay on average $202 extra. Now, look, it's all well and good that we're building all these new housing estates, but the problem is that water and sewage connections aren't close by. So who has to fork out? We do. We've got to fork out to pay for it. And with that, we're probably expecting our water bills to go up significantly this year. This is what a few of the locals had to say.
Pat, did you realise the cost of water is going up?
No, I haven't. No.
Are you conservative with how you use water with the cost of living going up?
Well, I'm conscious of not using too much water or excessive water, but I don't go out. I've got a pure tap or filtered water at work and wherever I go, so I just drink that. I don't normally buy water. Yeah.
So when I say water's going up, it feels like everything's going up right now. Are you getting a bit jaded with it all?
Yeah, I am, very much so. I've had to sell investments because of the cost of living.
What have you had to sell?
Property. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now, sorting out here at the banks at Norwood, just sorting out, shuffling money around.
I'm here with Maria and Kevin. How do you feel about water bills going up again?
Well, they've already been putting up all of our costs, and then to put that on the everyday household is just adding more pressure to us. So the government really needs to look at their spend first before they push it on the everyday household.
Have you been aware of how you're using water in the household? Have you cut back on shower time or anything?
We've cut back on a lot, and because we've had a mild summer, we've hardly used the water, and we've only just questioned it recently on how expensive it is when the summer's a lot better. We're very careful with water usage in the garden, and that's all about, that's all really we use it for. We hardly ever wash the cars. We're very conscious, and we can't believe how the price keeps going up all the time.
Great work, Jade. The voices of people that are paying for the housing construction costs.
Well, see, the thing is, to prop up the cost of all these, all the sewage and plumbing for these new homes, they're not going to get you through use. They're going to get you through the connection fee.
Yes.
And that's where, doesn't matter how much water you're using, if they're going to try to yank a whole stack of money. Now, the one thing the Treasurer, Stephen Mulligan, has said is they're trying to offset the impact by using, by borrowing money, borrowing against state debt to fund it, and give an extra dividend to SA Water, meaning that taxpayers alone won't be footing the bill. The government will be taking a hit too. But the question is, with the taxpayers still very much in the mix, how much are we on the hook for?
Will Frogley is the CEO of the Master Builders Association here in South Australia. Will, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Dave.
Will, it's a conundrum because obviously huge demand for more housing in Adelaide, but I guess the thing is we've got some pretty bleak local examples, the Hills being the best one, and even the struggle for people down in Seaford to get train services and what have you for donkey's years. We've got a nasty habit of rolling out the housing without thinking about how we'll pay for the rest of it, haven't we?
We always need the appropriate investment in social infrastructure to go with housing investment, and we've got a really tight housing market in South Australia at the moment. In fact, our rental market's the tightest out of any capital city on the mainland. And I mean, if you talk to anyone who's tried to find a rental property lately, it's an absolute nightmare for them. There's intense competition. The rents are extremely high, and the only way you can fix that is to build more homes. Otherwise, it's going to just get worse and worse and worse.
I imagine builders are always happy to hear that there's land being released for housing and construction targets from governments, but your members sometimes will feel a bit like these headline figures get released and they're celebrated, and then it's sort of up to the building community to work out how the hell it's going to work, and maybe sometimes it doesn't quite work as well as governments think it's going to.
I mean, there's always big announcements in our space, but where the building industry really cares is when the rubber actually hits the road. When the infrastructure work's happening, when the houses are actually being built. And it often takes many years from the announcement to when that actually occurs. So, I mean, that's the key. But look, at the end of the day, we do have that really intense housing shortage that I was talking about, and that will just get worse and worse. And it's the effect on affordability, if there's not enough supply, can be catastrophic. You know, the house price in Adelaide just keeps getting higher and higher and higher, and that comes down to demand versus supply.
So, Will, can you walk us through this? Like, you know, because I'm not across the detail of how the construction industry works, but if you're like a big developer, say a big, well-regarded, highly reputable bloke like, I don't know, Michael Hickenbotham, and you put in a bid to build 500 houses or something, do you have to help pay for the infrastructure too, for like SA Water and all that sort of stuff?
Absolutely. You're a developer, you're paying infrastructure costs. What we're really talking about here is investment in trunk infrastructure, water, sewage and the like. And it's going to cost a lot of money, there's no doubt, because there has been underinvestment in this area for a long time, and there's a lot of demand coming up. But really, it's, we can't ignore this problem, and really it's like investing in infrastructure, just like government would invest in schools or hospitals or anything else. If you say it's just too expensive and we can't do it, then what do you think is going to happen with housing in South Australia?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it becomes prohibitive for the builders themselves.
Well, Will, thank you for that.
Cheers, Will.
Will Frogley is the CEO of the Master Builders here in South Australia. Bruce Jitte is the Executive Director of the Property Council of Australia. Bruce, you've been listening to this conversation. What do you think some of the key issues are?
Well, the key issue and the biggest handbrake on delivering more housing clearly is infrastructure. Lack of water, lack of sewer. To be fair to the government, they've been working very closely with industry on this issue when we raised it with them. But they need to do something. They need to do something fast. They need to do something in this budget, and that equals dollars. And to be honest, it's because this infrastructure has been underfunded for 20 years. It's not an issue that should be politicised. It's not something where scaremongering about water bills going up is going to be helpful. The cost of living crisis is really due to rents skyrocketing and mortgages being so high, not water bills going up $20. I mean, it all counts, but without increasing the supply of housing, mortgages will be higher, and our kids won't have anywhere to live.
Is this all coming to a head, Bruce, because of the time frames required to combat the housing crisis we have, and we don't have 30 years to work this out. We're trying to get houses for people now, combined with the extra costs to build that exist at the moment, that mean the cost burden is what we're actually debating here, whether it should be taxpayers or developers. And developers are saying, well, we don't have as much margin to play with as we have in the past, and government's saying, well, we need these houses built now. And what we're seeing is it playing out over something like water in this instance, but it could just as easily be some other part of the infrastructure the requirement for a major development.
That's right, and feasibility is a huge challenge for developers at the moment, but it's really important for the public to understand developers already pay for all their water and sewer infrastructure that connects to every single house within the development, as well as millions of dollars in augmentation fees over several years for infrastructure. So what we're talking about is the trunk infrastructure. If you think of a tree, that's the government's responsibility. The huge pipes, everything else the developers already pay for. Okay. So if you want to talk about affordability, you wouldn't be adding more cost burden onto developers or builders in this market at the moment.
I tell you what, this conversation, Bruce, I reckon it should give pause to those people who might feel inclined to get along to their local people of Mitcham against high-rise apartments to complain about a five-storey building, and at the same breath go, I'm not paying an extra $100 a year for my bloody SA water bill. It's like, well, do you want housing that can actually piggyback off existing infrastructure, or do you want to kick everyone out to Concordia to live? Because you can't have both.
And isn't it funny? There's time now for this state to have a mature discussion, and this is why scaremongering is so good, 21, to have a mature discussion about not just me, but what future do we want for our children? Because the same people who don't want a five-storey medium-density apartment are the same people who don't want urban sprawl because it's expensive to fund, as the government's finding out the hard way, which are the same people who complain that they're going to have to drive 50 kilometres to babysit their grandkids. So it's really, this utopian world we dream of doesn't exist. and some tough decisions need to be made. And if you hear the Premier's sound bites, he sounds like a very strong leader. The Treasurer's the same, and they need to take leadership of this issue and fund this critical infrastructure, else this homelessness crisis will be out of control.
Yeah, good on you, Bruce. Thank you.
Cheers, Bruce.
The Executive Director there, Bruce Gitte of the Property Council of Australia here in South Australia. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Keezer. If you're tired of back pain, try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
G'day there, Croydon Park, a breakdown to look out for on South Road near Regency Road. Works at Coromandel Valley, slowing things up. Main Road near Black Road, busy at Medindy Gardens, Nottage Terrace near Main North Road, and slow for works at Chips Cross, Port Wakefield Road near Matthews Road. Cameras today, Briar Road, Felixstowe and Gage Street at Firle. Williams Legal are your family, will planning and estate legal specialists. For Adelaide's leading barristers and solicitors, visit williamslegal.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA Mornings today, we'll look at the cost of living, how it's affecting hospitality, a number of businesses closing, and leading South Australian air conditioning and heating maker Sealy International relocating a factory back to SA because of the Victorian government's gas policy. We'll look at that this morning as well. Those stories and more, your calls too. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
If you have an electric hot water service at home or instant gas to heat your water, I'm sorry to say, you're losing money every day. With an EcoVantage heat pump hot water system, you could save up to a whopping 50% on your water heating costs. And if you're a concession card holder, make the switch to an EcoVantage heat pump hot water system. The upfront costs are even lower. EcoVantage, the savings are real. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zeek ZE 310R passenger car tires and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value. City Discount Tires.
At the brand new Kent Town Hotel, there's room for everyone. The Kent Bar oozes with happy times and has an outdoor seating undercover for over 150 people, while upstairs the balcony bar has another 150 seats inside and out, and there's always the pool room for that party of 30.
Been there many times, love it, but if you haven't been for a while, you've got to see the redevelopment to believe it. Now, Tom, the owner, great bloke, he's been in hotels all his life, and he knows how to make your experience memorable, like the stunning 90-seat restaurant that opens fully to the street, where you'll find oysters opened French style and more than 400 wines to choose from.
Yeah, you'll see it, and then it'll become very clear to you why they won the Best Hotel Redevelopment Award.
The Kent Town Hotel. Everyone's loving this pub.
Whether you're kicking goals today or your prime was back in the day, you can rely on complete comfort every night. Their beds are built with active zones you can adjust in seconds to ensure your body gets the right support and you can get a more restful sleep. They look like your average bed, but they're far from average. And if you're regularly being sent off for snoring, it can help you with that too. Visit completecomfort.com.au or visit the Wayville showroom to experience complete comfort beds for yourself.
Austrac Campers' Red Arc battery management system lets you get off the beaten track and off-grid for a week, a month,
Will you stop pretending you're in a radio ad?
or until you get on each other's nerves.
Austrac Campers.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
We've got a smeg of points to give away in a few moments. We'll be doing that. Lots of giveaways on 5AA at the moment. Of course, the sports show giving away the Benzina sports scooter valued at $8,500. Sitting right here in the studio with us. You've straddled it.
Straddled the hog.
Find 40 years experience plus Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishi and Mazda at Steinborn Automotive. Visit steinborner.com.au. All you need to do to be part of the chance to win that is call into the program, have a chat with Rowie and Timmy G, have your thought. It might be on Jimmy Webster, might be on Alistair Clarkson, might be on Sam Kerr and the Matildas captaincy. Whatever it might well be, you can call in and be in the running to win that excellent Benzina scooter.
The Smeg winner is Latvia. Latvia, well
Yes.
done. Capital Riga, home of the Piorgi. Well, your people lay claim to that too, don't they? How do you say it?
Pirogi.
Pirogi.
Yeah.
All the Baltic states reckon they invented it. Don't
Do they? Yeah, well.
They're wrong.
They're wrong.
Thank you for that. Will, Smeg Mixer, Latvia, it's yours. Well done.
Building or renovating, your first choice. You're visiting the Smeg showroom at Deputy Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. Hey, in exciting news, we have a superstar movie reviewer that's going to provide us with an Oscars preview on the program.
And it's
tomorrow.
not David Stratton.
It's not David Stratton.
Pauline Keel.
Someone, a movie reviewer we've spoken to in the past.
It's not Lucy either.
It's not Lucy.
It is.
It's a guy, someone who does a little bit of he does another job on the side, a little bit of kicking a.
Let's just say he was an AFL elite athlete who was loyally committed to his local club, but like a few others, decided to go interstate.
I think by virtue of him appearing tomorrow, it's a sign he's more loyal to this breakfast show than he was to the club. We're looking forward to the dude joining us tomorrow morning on 5AA Breakfast to preview the Academy Awards. I think he got something like 23 of the 25 awards right last year, so we'll see how he goes this time around. Looking forward to chatting with him tomorrow. He's a great bloke. Matt Pantelis is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles.